Half an hour ago, it was a beautiful, cool, brisk fall day, and in the past half hour, the clouds have come over, swirling winds and rain. Some thunderstorms right here in Morgantown.
Well, Sean just said this is a critical game, and I think this weather just came as an omen and a reminder that this is a critical game, and you better be ready to play. It's the cloudy thing happening here today, Mike.
Very cool afternoon. West Virginia comes in with a 3-4 overall record. They're 2-1 in the Big East. Virginia Tech 5-2. They're 3-1 in the Big East, and there is Frank Beamer, the head coach of the Hokies in his 9th season at Blacksburg. Team on a 5-game winning streak, longest streak for him since he's been at Tech.
The only unequaled thing is the wind. That's Coach Nehlen, but it's going to be a windy day, and it's going to be a factor.
His 25th season as a collegiate head coach, number 16 here in Morgantown. West Virginia won the toss and have deferred, so they will kick off to start off. It's homecoming weekend, a sellout crowd of 63,500. But many of them heading for some shelter with this nasty, nasty rain. And you see last year's meeting in Blacksburg, it was all Virginia Tech, although West Virginia leads the all-time series.
You know, the interesting thing, as far as Coach Beamer and Coach Nehlen are concerned, they've met 8 times, 4-4. Now, I think the thing about it is this, is that they're meeting the strength with the strength. They're going right after the offense. They're kicking off here right now, Mike.
Brad Hackett will kick off. Dwayne Thomas, the deep man for the Virginia Tech Hokies. And the crowd, as wet as they are, they're ready for this one to begin. A critical game for both teams as they try and get themselves in contention for a Big East championship and certainly for some bowl appearances.
There's the alley-oop kick down to the 20-yard line.
It's a short kick at the 22 field. It spins and up to about the 36-yard line. Marcus Parker on the return. And let's take a look at the Virginia Tech offense. Druckenmiller is the quarterback. Dwayne Thomas, their leading rusher, has 5 touchdowns in his last 5 games. Meanwhile, the offensive line, Chris Malone at left guard, his 43rd straight start. And we mentioned Druckenmiller, the junior. He has had a strong season. Had some ups and downs early, but is really starting to come on. This team has been pouring on the points the last couple of weeks.
Ball's on the 36-yard line. And they're going to a wide-open attack.
Druckenmiller will start off in the shotgun. They spread out 4 wideouts. Druckenmiller fires. It's complete. Across midfield, all the way down to the 42-yard line. And Washington on the stop. The tight end, Brian Jennings, on the reception. And there you see the defense for West Virginia. Henry Slay, the sophomore. 2nd in tackles, 2nd in sacks on this team. J.T. Thomas, leading tackler, always around the football. And in the secondary, Aaron Beasley, the All-America, had a huge game last year against Virginia Tech, had 3 interceptions. And hoping to do that again, even though West Virginia lost big. Elijah Longino is down on the field after that 22-yard pickup, the senior from Cleveland. And Druckenmiller with a nice pass to Jennings. The tight end has become a real threat. And Van Washington holding on for dear life. There you see Longino coming in across. And again, J.T. Thomas going over him, so he's a little shaken up on the play.
I think he's all right. I think he just got the wind knocked out of him as the foot went right into his belly.
A lot of keys this afternoon for both teams, but there are also some musts. Coach Max must. What do we got, Coach?
Well, I think Virginia Tech has got to establish the run, and from that, what they have to do is make sure they be dynamic in special teams, because that's the way they've won all year. That's their formula, but they started out with wide out and the tight end coming right across, so in this weather, it kind of surprised me, but here they go. Excellent field position.
Longino limping off on the first play. He's done an excellent job this year for the Mountaineers. Both teams have had to battle various injuries. West Virginia, John Browning is out once again with a knee injury, as Don Nehlen's had to deal with a lot of that. So already excellent field position, ball on the 42. Thomas and Edmonds are the setbacks for the Hokies. For Thomas. It's knocked out at about the 35-yard line. Mike Logan in on the tackle. And of course, we said some musts for Virginia Tech, equally for West Virginia. They've got some important things they have to do.
Well, I think when they go on offense, they're going to be successful in the quick passing game. And for doggone sure, they've got to improve their special teams, especially in punting, punt protection, and field goal and PAT protection. These are the things that have got to happen. Right now, they've got to settle down and play good defense because Virginia Tech has moved the football down the field.
2nd down and 3 after the 7-yard pickup from Thomas. Wayne Thomas again, close to a 1st down. Knocked in by a host of Mountaineers. J.T. Thomas among those in on the stop. Thomas now the 4th leading rusher at Virginia Tech. He just gets better and better.
And the whole Virginia Tech team is getting better and better, Mike. They're improving each and every week as they go out. And now we got a critical play, 3rd down and short yardage. Let's see who stacks up against it. It's sure going to be a power game with these two coaches playing.
Frank Beamer's team has been able to run the football. Thomas, Edmonds, Ken Oxidine off the bench. 3rd and a little less than 1. Edmonds has the 1st down without much problem. Charles Emmanuel coming in to help out on the stop. J.B. Sweeney as well. And a 1st down again for Virginia Tech.
Now again, Virginia Tech has mixed up the offense very, very well in this drive. There's 3 first downs for them in the first series, and they're doing just exactly what they want to do. I think West Virginia is settling down right now.
West Virginia is a team this year that has struggled in the first half, more so offensively. Virginia Tech's offense has been in high gear the past couple of weeks. This time Druckenmiller himself, but really nowhere to go. Bernard Russ on the tackle.
Very apparent that they want to get outside with the option game to the weak side because West Virginia is really loaded up to the tight end side. Interesting series going on here and an interesting strategy to see just exactly what they're going to be able to use. But 3 first downs, it's very apparent that Virginia Tech is using the right thing, Mike.
Russ does not bite on the fake. So 2nd and 9. For Virginia Tech, the last 2 games have scored 122 points. They've been lighting up the scoreboard. Druckenmiller looks, fires, deflected, and nearly picked off. John Thornton on the deflection.
One of the things that Frank has got to find out today, can he move against a good defense, which is what West Virginia is. Here comes the pass rush, the thing that you need, and very, very dynamic. He's taking his time, he's looked, now he throws off to his right, has the hands up in the air to knock it down. That's the pressure, that's the knockdown, that's how you play good pass defense. Help everybody out on the team.
They are #1 in the Big East in quarterback sacks, and they put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. West Virginia's done it all season. And Druckenmiller facing a 3rd and 9. On the play action, fires, incomplete. Intended for Edmonds, and a 4th down coming up.
3rd down and long, and he went to the play action for protection purposes. It wasn't anything to do with the pattern. He just wanted to make sure he was protected. He had the guy open, but the guy dropped the football on the thing, and great protection, great pressure.
Adel Larson is coming on for the field goal attempt. Larson with a career long of 48. His long this year is 44, and this one is a 48-yarder. So this would match his career long. Again, the wind swirling pretty well here, and the rain coming down.
He started the season at 0-4, but come on strong ever since. This one's going to be
too short. So Virginia Tech moves the football on their first possession, but they come away empty as the Mountaineers defense tightens up. A rainy afternoon in Morgantown. No score early in the first.
Now you see on your screen John Thomas, who's the punter but also the holder. And I think we're going to show you John Thomas holding, who's improved dramatically. But here he spins the ball right into the kicker. But I don't think it's a factor in the play because there's so much wind on the play. And plus the distance, I think it was just a long way to go, and that's what caused the miss.
This is the 48-yarder. Chad Johnston to throw on 1st down for the sideline. David Saunders, no, incomplete. So the first play from scrimmage, both teams looking to throw the football. And there you see Robert Walker, who was not out there to start off. Jimmy Gary started. Walker's been bothered by an ankle problem, so apparently in warm-ups it hurt him a little more than they expected. But Jimmy Gary also excellent. Joe DeLong's got a long afternoon, tough matchup. He's going to go against Cornell Brown on that offensive line. Second down and 10. Kentroy Barber is the fullback. And there's Gary. Hank Coleman quickly racks him up. Chad Johnson's numbers for the season. He's turned the ball over a little bit with the 8 interceptions, the junior from Peterstown, West Virginia. But he's got a strong arm and a tough kid.
You've got to match TDs with interceptions, and he's behind there, and that's one of the problems with West Virginia offensively. But they're going to attack just like they said they were. They attacked the outside with the quick passes. It was just the receiver slipping just as he was catching the football.
Saunders split out to the near side. Vanderpool on the far side. Third down and 12. A lot of movement. Play action. Johnson under some pressure. Flag thrown on the play. And he fires it away. J.C. Price hot in pursuit. But again, a penalty marker down to the field. Our referee this afternoon, Al Hines. And this one going against the Mountaineers. The Virginia Tech defense, one of the best not only in the Big East, but certainly in the nation. On a wet day, you're going to have some problems with various technical equipment as Brian West comes on to punt.
I think that the key to the game is how they punt, because it's been atrocious during the year. They're going to get real pressure from the Virginia Tech, and they're in a terrible field position now, and they're going to make sure and get this away downfield. They've got to break because the storm is blown over. It's all West Virginia's favor right now.
West had 11 punts last week against Syracuse, and it's a real high one, but short. Larry Green was back, but this one way out of bounds. And Virginia Tech's going to have some excellent field position on another poor punt from West. He's had some boomers, but he struggled with consistency.
Well, that certainly is one of the inconsistent ones and hurt them terribly.
21-yard punt. Virginia Tech will start off with excellent field position.
Back to the first quarter at Morgantown, and Mike and Dick.
Thank you, John. As we're at least had temporary restraining from the rain. In fact, the sun a little bit down the road, but a lot of clouds on a cool, brisk afternoon. And there you see Brian West. That last punt, by the way, just 14 yards as they marked it now at the 43-yard line of West Virginia.
We said they had to improve in this area, and they certainly haven't. Virginia Tech's only got 43 yards to go, and that is too tough on the West Virginia defense. Too much pressure by the special teams, Mike.
So first and 10 for the Hokies. Wayne Thomas able to scamper for a couple of yards. J.T. Thomas on the tackle. Henry Slay, number 78 for West Virginia. I don't know.
Well, Canadi's got to make sure he brings him down. Just hugs him a little bit, brings him down to the turf. But excellent pressure, and that makes it very difficult for an inside run to take place because he makes him bend anywhere he wants him to bend.
2-yard pickup on that last second and 8. Again, Thomas has a big hole, and he's got the first down to the 32-yard line. Jamie Sweeney and Thomas on the stop, but a strong run from Dwayne Thomas.
Now these are linemen and fullbacks delight when they can lead through and take on linebackers and just plow right into the people and move the chains. And here they are down to the 32-yard line, so 2 plays, 11 yards, and they're moving down inside the 25, which is dangerous for West Virginia.
Thomas, the team's leading rusher. He's also second in rushing TDs in the Big East. One of those that's able to find the end zone. Gets the call again, wrapped up. Charles Emmanuel among those on the stop. Thomas, the senior out of Fort Myers. And there you see number 4 all-time, Cyrus Lawrence, who played late 70s, early 80s, the all-time leading rusher. But Dwayne Thomas moving up the charts.
And you're talking when Emmanuel's got his nose up there in that tight defense, you got to be careful with the play action because he's playing the run real tough.
Second and 10. Druckenmiller as he tries to fire it away. John Thornton again. Thornton, who's filling in for Browning, has done a magnificent job while Browning recovers from knee problems.
The only difference, in my opinion, is the greatness. But John is also a real good football player, and they lose some depth. But John has played well all year.
With Browning out, he's gotten the opportunity, has 3 quarterback sacks and puts a lot of pressure. That's where you can have the knee problems a little bit the way that goes.
He's got to relax a little bit, go down when they hit him. Take the fall a little bit easy. He's trying to fight it.
3rd down and 10. Druckenmiller. Draw play to Thomas. Breaks a tackle. But short of the 1st down. As he's brought down by Bernard Russ. Did a nice job eluding the first one.
Again, you're talking about excellent call offensively, trying to mix it up, move the draw. They got in real good field goal position now, and Larson will get another chance to get 3 points on the board. A wonderful, wonderful defense by West Virginia. They've been right in the trouble, looking right down their throat. They've been able to stop him for touchdowns and make him try to kick field goals.
So Adam Larson on once again. 43-yard field goal. Again, he missed a 48-yarder before. This one has the distance, and it's good. So Larson redeems himself.
A lot less wind that time. It's really settled down here. It's starting to be a nice day. We had about a half hour of a bad thunderstorm. Otherwise, it's been an excellent football day, and you got it right now.
Virginia Tech gets on the board first as they look for their 6th straight victory. Virginia Tech, courtesy of the 43-yard field goal from Ada Larson, takes the 3-0 lead. West Virginia chance now to go back on offense. They got shut out last week against Syracuse. And Coach Don Nehlen knows that he'll have to pass a little bit today, but he's not going to get carried away.
Well, we're going to try to throw it. There's no question there. They're daring us to throw it, so we're going to try to throw it a little bit. But I still have that basic philosophy, Mac, that you can't beat anybody throwing 50, 60 passes. We have to buckle it up, and we have to block those ends and block those tackles and get after them and run up in there and keep them honest, because I think if it becomes just nothing but a passing game, we're in big trouble.
He's absolutely right. That's not their mode, but they are going to throw it. You will see it on the first series, I think. Ed Larson is now 1 for 2 in field goals, and now he's kicking off. And what we said earlier in the game, West Virginia has got to establish himself with big plays on special teams. They've got a chance right now by returning this kickoff.
They're the best in the Big East in kickoff returns. Rashawn Vanderpool, the main reason for that. He's back along with Sean Foreman. Larson to kick off. The rain has stopped and the wind has died down. Vanderpool at his own 2. And run out of bounds at about the 19. Keon Carpenter able to run him out. 17-yard return for Vanderpool. And there's the defensive line, the starters for Tech. J.C. Price having one of the best seasons ever for a Virginia Tech defensive lineman. Myron Newsom, the Big East Defensive Player of the Week, had a spectacular game against Rutgers last week. Strong linebacking crew. And William Yarbrough, the interception leader for this team both last year, and he's got the lead this year as well.
I think the corners are the ones that West Virginia thinks they can go after a little bit. Lauren Johnson, Larry Green. Let's see what happens.
Johnson again throws for the corners, incomplete. Vanderpool could not hold on. That's what you said that they wanted to do right from the get-go. Though Johnson misfiring on his first 3, although that one's certainly catchable.
Well, I think, again, you got to watch Vanderpool here. He's got to turn his hands back the other way to make it a little bit easier on himself. Get the thumbs together, and I think he could have caught that a little bit more. He didn't have a good kickoff return. He's got to get into the rhythm a little bit more because he's a big play man for West Virginia.
He was quiet last week against Syracuse. The entire offense was, as we have more penalty flags. This one will go against the Mountaineers. And there you see the little motion, the head just popping. Buddy Hager with the movement.
When you see Virginia Tech playing defense, you see nervous offensive linemen because they attack so much, and it's such a concern to anybody that plays against them. It's a tremendously intimidating defense. That's what causes so many cadence problems.
2nd and 15. Jimmy Gary on a bit of a draw. And quickly hit George Del Rico and Brandon Simonis are right there. He gets not even back to the original line of scrimmage. Del Rico, the defensive captain, the senior, is their leading tackler.
You know, you talk about the linebackers in the Big East, and here's a perfect example of how to play, how he stands up and just takes them on. And West Virginia cannot play 1st and 15 and 2nd and 15 and expect to win on offense, especially with this field position. They can't take any chances.
Good camera work. Watching Del Rico in action. He had some big games against West Virginia the past 2 years. 3rd down and long. Johnson under pressure, flushed out. Fires downfield, incomplete. And a 4th down is coming up. Levitt Purnell, the tight end, the intended receiver, it appeared, but he overthrew him, although Saunders was also in the vicinity.
Now the West Virginia stands and the fans have got to stay with their football team just a little bit longer. They're in tough shape. Chad's just getting rid of the football so they don't get in any more trouble on these kind of things.
And here's one of your musts for West Virginia, the punting game. They have struggled. West's first punt was only 14 yards, and he's way back near his own goal line now. They need a big booming punt from him.
No, and Brian is just about, he just can't think of what he's doing so much. He really is mentally out of it. He's so scared to death. You just got to get up there and boom it with the great ability that he has.
Almost blocked again. A low kick. Larry Green
Going to get a great roll out of it.
And that's exactly what he needed. Wasn't a thing of beauty, but the end result is absolutely perfect for West Virginia.
The result makes it beautiful, Mike.
55-yarder
yes, right.
for Brian West, so the junior.
That's the kind of breaks that they need. From mistakes, good things happen.
And he even had to mishandle a snap that wasn't perfect as well to get it off. Let's take a look.
I think that's to his credit. He stayed right down on it, looked the ball right into his hands, relaxed, scooped it up nice to the shortstop, then get up without looking anywhere and just booted away. That's a tremendous credit to him. Now you got to build on that with Brian, make him feel better about himself, then he'll be a better punter.
Marcus Parker and Ken Oxendine have come into the game in the backfield. This is a very deep team in terms of running backs. Virginia Tech. Oxendine, a super player. He gets the call and quickly hit maybe a yard or two. Bernard Russ, who's had a strong first quarter, in on the stop.
Now, the football purist has got to love watching West Virginia play football because they will come after you. Just a couple of weeks ago, Russ was the Big East Player of the Week. So it's not a one-time thing. He's doing it week in and week out.
It's his first year with West Virginia. Junior college transfer from Utica, New York. 2nd and 6. Oxendine able to spread out a little bit. Miller play action, going deep for Brian Still. Incomplete, just off the fingertips. Beasley right there on the coverage. Although he certainly had a step on Beasley.
Now again, with the play action, with the great run, they're going to attack him deep, either working on the safeties with the post cut or with the streaks with Brian Still. It's an excellent football play, just off his fingertips. That's the way Brian should lay out. If they keep doing that, they'll hit one of the big plays, and they need those.
They've had a lot of them
today. Oh, yeah.
3rd and 6. Druckenmiller's going to run. Breaks the tackle, and he's got the first down. Van Washington missed him, and they'll move the chains.
Now, that is a great play by the quarterback because he's telling people, I'm giving up my body. I'm going after the first down, move the chains. You can see the excitement over there on the Virginia Tech bench. That's how everybody gets into the game.
This is not what he's known for. He's not very quick, but this time does a nice job.
See, he's a big, strong man, and he can take those hits, and that's why he's attractive to everybody, and he leads his team well.
A great size. It's 6'4", 222 pounds. So another first down. This time straight up the middle and absolutely nowhere to go. Bernard Russ in on the tackle. Thornton there. Right now, let's go to our Big East studios once again for an update. And John Sanders.
Thank you very much. We take you to Illinois, and it's the Fighting Illini on the move. 4th down and goal from the 1. On the bootleg, Scott Weaver into the end zone. An early lead for Illinois over Northwestern, 7-0. Illinois trying to make it 3 straight over the Wildcats. Let's go back to Mountaineer Field.
Thank you, John. What a year Northwestern has had. Tough road contest this afternoon. Tough one for Virginia Tech. 2nd and 9 out of the shotgun. Oxendine out of the backfield. Breaks a couple of tackles and gets up near midfield. Russ and Thomas in on the stop. Jay Haygood made a key block on that play.
This is one of the prettiest plays in football where you got a combination. Watch this tackle pulling out here. The great timing on the play, just pushing the guy back on a trap block, and Oxnard timing it, taking it down the football field. Great mix-up. 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3.
Oxendine, just a sophomore. He'll take over when Thomas leaves next year. Druckenmiller has some time. Fires. Incomplete, intended for Bryant Still. Excellent coverage from one of the best in the nation, Aaron Beasley, the senior All-American.
Boy, does he challenge receivers. He challenges.
Not a lot of quarterbacks want to throw his way.
Not in short yardage situations. They better throw it deep if they're going to. He's right there putting the pressure right on.
That's perfect timing.
You must commend the West Virginia defense with what they've done so far to just give up 3 points with the field position they've had to work with.
John Thomas, 3rd in the Big East in punting. Vanderpool is back. And it's blocked. West Virginia pounces on it at midfield. Sean Foreman with the block. And a big play by the special teams of the Mountaineers.
Make big plays in special teams. We said the team that makes the big plays in special teams today could win this football game. Now, tremendous field position for the first time today by West Virginia.
Foreman right there had no problems getting through. That's the second time this year that Thomas has had a punt block.
I think that Thomas has got to handle the ball and see it in.
And Jimmy Gary is gang tackled. Coleman and Price get him before he has a chance to breathe, and he's thrown for a big loss.
What happens there? Virginia Tech answers a big play with a big play. Don't give them any life. Don't let them get excited. Make 2nd down and long, and Virginia Tech answered that tremendously from a defensive standpoint.
Especially when you get the crowd all of a sudden pumped up as the sun has come back out here in Morgantown. We've gone from a beautiful day early to just an ugly one, and now it's gorgeous again.
And a homecoming crowd, full stadium. Now they've got to get behind that football team just a little bit more.
4-yard loss on that play, so 2nd and 14. 3 receivers in the game now for the Mountaineers. Johnson looks downfield, fires, and it's complete. No, they say he dropped it.
Oh no.
Alexander,
Oh no.
he does not like the call.
Oh no, the guy behind makes the call. He doesn't see it. Let's take a look at that again from replay.
Tony Alexander still arguing.
Now we'll be able to see it right at the end of the play. That's the advantage of television.
Looked like he juggled it, and it hit the ground as he was coming down.
Never had possession, juggled. Great call by the officials. Amazing.
Johnston now 0 for 5. And he's got a 3rd and 14. Again, 3 wide receivers. Under pressure, and he's sacked. Cornell Brown, the leading sack man on Virginia Tech, his 7th sack of the season.
Now again, Virginia Tech makes the big play when they have to. They cause the sack, but it's 3rd down and 14. Chad Johnson very wisely puts the ball down. Now they've got a chance to punt, put Virginia Tech in the hole, and they're still playing good, decent football, field position-wise. If the crowd will just stay with them and give them a chance.
Brian West, another very poor kick, and he is really, really struggling. And here's it from the homecoming crowd. Tech will have excellent field position again, just a 20-yard kick. So the Hokies leading 3-0, just under 4 minutes remaining. In this opening quarter will start at their own 43-yard line.
They can't continue to put the pressure on the West Virginia defense like this, and it's the kicking game that's doing. And poor Brian West is so involved mentally, his physical skills can't take it over. It's a very frustrating thing for everybody on the West Virginia team.
Druckenmiller out of the shotgun. Two wideouts split out to the far side. Both defenses have been strong early. Druckenmiller looks downfield, flushed down in the pocket. He's got a lot of room to go. And he runs out of bounds. J.T. Thomas finally runs him out, but they've got the 1st down and more all the way down to the 41-yard line. And now let's take a look at our out-of-town scores, brought to you by John Hancock, official worldwide sponsor of the 1996 Olympic Games. Boston College hoping to get on track later on. A lot of big games throughout the nation.
I think Druckenmiller, that was the biggest one he had all day. Slipped on as he went out of bounds.
For a guy that can't run, he's running okay.
Yes, he is. That's something that they can't afford to do. Leave him get out of the pocket.
Dwayne Thomas, another strong game. Second effort as well, as the running game is working. Van Washington on the tackle.
Now power, straight power football. Tremendous thing by the offensive line and the fullback leading him. And then Thomas does the thing that excites his own football team, breaks tackles, pushes, and makes it a 2nd down and 1 call coming into the thing, which is a tremendous call from an offensive standpoint. Makes it easy.
Thomas came in the game averaging just under 4.5 yards per carry. And again, he scored in his last 5 games. 2nd down and 1 after that 9-yard pickup. The Hokies mixing it up offensively. Druckenmiller going for the end zone. Again, he overthrows Cornelius White, the intended receiver.
All he had to do was put just a little bit more air under it. He put just too much direct on the thing. Great call, great pump, and it was a nice time to do it with a 2nd and 1. Now he puts pressure on himself. Just a little bit more higher up in the air, I think. The receiver just couldn't get under it.
White had a couple of steps, and you know he's mad at himself.
Now they got to go back and get the 1st down in this situation right here to keep the drive going. Otherwise, they're going to give renewed life to West Virginia.
Not great numbers early for Druckenmiller, but he's got a 3rd and 1. Quick inside to Edmonds.
They're giving it to him. 1st down. So no hurt on the incomplete. They moved the chains, got a whole new series now to move it in.
Thomas in on the stop.
They've got this line completely sealed off so the back can run for the positive yardage and the 1st down. Jim Druckenmiller's mixing the plays up, automaticing tremendously here.
And as you said, with the way West Virginia's playing right now, the defense, you can't keep them on the field all that much. Eventually, a big play is going to happen as total yards just dominated by Virginia Tech. They've got a 1st down. 4 wide receivers in the game. Instead they go with a run. And Thomas, as the penalty marker is thrown, spins for maybe 5 yards. Bernard Russ once again there on the tackle, but we've got a penalty.
The penalty is the thing that can help and save West Virginia and hurt Virginia Tech, and it's very obvious the way they're walking back. It's against them. On a 1st down, you don't hold. You don't need to hold in that situation because you get many downs, especially down in here. Now you put yourself in problems that you shouldn't have, so it becomes a 1st and 20 situation, and they don't need to overcome. Now watch what Jim Druckenmiller does. Watch him up at the line of scrimmage, how well he handles things and checks off, and doing a great job moving the team and not making any mistakes. And that's the key to this thing. Ahead 3-0 in the 1st quarter.
Virginia Tech 2nd in the Big East in penalty yards per game. They're being penalized over 46 yards a game. So they've had their problems up and down in that area. They've got a 1st and 20. Again, Druckenmiller with 4 wide receivers. Here comes the blitz. Druckenmiller pops, and it's complete. Thomas out of the backfield, but another flag on the play. He's run out of bounds at about the 34 by Van Washington. Check that Jermaine Holmes on that reception.
West Virginia had a zone pressure blitz on, and I think they stepped across the line of scrimmage ever so slightly, and probably that's what the official is calling right there.
That's what they get him for.
Al Hines of the Big East is an excellent referee, and I don't endorse very many of them.
As any should, correct?
Big East officials.
We've seen some great calls.
Yes, they do.
Very tough calls. And so often you look at the replay and say, you know, son of a gun was right. Again, because of some of the rainstorm problems earlier, referees might having some difficulty. Hopefully we'll get that attended to a little bit earlier.
I'm sure the people can see from the shadows and everything on TV that this is, again, a magnificent day for football in Morgantown, West Virginia.
Druckenmiller to White. The reception is good at about the 31, back to the original line of scrimmage. So it'll be 2nd and about, say, 10 or 11. Cornelius White, one of the talented wide receivers.
If you notice that going into the no-huddle offense and keeping the West Virginia team from any substitutions, so they really got the wideouts in there and locking them into 3 linebacker coverage and working one-on-one on those people.
Throwing the ball a lot. Again, both these teams are so good defending the run. Druckenmiller, quick throw. Jermaine Holmes had it and dropped it. And it's going to be a 3rd and 10 coming up.
Again, it's an incomplete pass, but it's not Holmes that caused it. Just a very, very poor throw here by Jim Druckenmiller. When you have to go back from where you came to make a catch, it makes it very difficult. Just too hard to catch. He made a great effort at it.
3rd down and 10. Well, the numbers for Druckenmiller so far. He's had a couple of long passes that if he just a little shorter, they would have had 2 different touchdowns. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
This is when it hurts to be away from home. Virginia Tech crowds back in on 3rd down and long.
Most of them back in their seats after the rain has stopped. Sellout crowd. Brian Edmonds on a counter play. He's got the 1st down and more. Dragged down. Van Washington tripped him up. And Sean Foreman also there to stop. But a beautiful play from Brian Edmonds. Edmonds, the junior.
It's a check off by Jim Druckenmiller. They go to a 1 linebacker, a 6 defensive back defense, and that's exactly what they do. They run the ball at those little defensive backs and run right over them for a 1st down.
Edmonds has his big games in Big East play. Always seems to gear up for conference opponents. And a 1st down. Ball down to the 15. Thomas. Hit after a couple of yards, but no more. And right now, let's get another update from our Big East studios and John Sanders.
We take you to Columbus, 7th-ranked Ohio State against number 25 Iowa. This is Bobby Hoying hitting Terry Glenn, who had scored 5 touchdowns in the last 3 games. Did not break that one. Eddie George, though, scores from the 5. The Buckeyes have a 7-0 lead. Back to Morgantown.
Thank you, John. So explosive, the Buckeyes.
3-0 ball game here, and Virginia Tech ahead and threatening again from the 14-yard line.
2nd and 8. Edmonds gets the carry and gets down to about the 8. Bernard Russ in on another tackle. He has been so active, but not before Edmonds gets close to another 1st down.
Now you're starting to see some leakage in the West Virginia front. They've got to gear it up, keep them out of the end zone this time, and they're going to be fine. But it's a lot of pressure on them because they've been playing defense the whole 1st quarter.
They've been out there a long time. They need a sustained drive by their offense. But Bernard Russ showing no signs of tiring. Virginia Tech with the lead as the 1st quarter is complete.
We take you back to the 2nd quarter of our Big East game of the week. It's the Hokies and the Ears. Let's go back to Mike and Dick.
Thank you, John Sanders. It has turned again into a beautiful day. Virginia Tech leading 3-0. This is a team that's won 5 in a row. They open up the season losing 2 straight, but Frank Beamer says they did not panic.
Well, we thought at that time we were a good football team. We just had to play better, and I give the credit to our coaches and players. I think we got a lot of maturity and a lot of character. We came back and we played better, and we're on a pretty good roll right now. I think the last couple of ball games, we've been the most complete football team. All elements of the game coming together the best we've been all year.
No, I agree 100% with Frank. It's amazing how well-balanced they are in every phase of the game. The biggest play in the game so far is coming up right now, Mike. 3rd down, a lot of linebackers in here for a short yardage defense. They stop him here and make him go for a field goal. It gets him more life.
3rd and 3 from the West Virginia 8-yard line. Edmonds and Thomas are the setbacks. Wayne Thomas trying to get outside. He does, and an easy score. Touchdown, Virginia Tech.
You know, again, it looks like an easy score, but what happens is that Dwayne Thomas takes the route to the outside. It's not a designed football play to bounce out, but he had to bounce out because everybody stayed inside. We didn't get good contain on the play by West Virginia, and Virginia Tech is able to take it in. Critical play in the game, puts the score at 9-0, possibly 10, and it makes him ride real well from every piece of field position they had the 1st quarter.
His 6th rushing touchdown of the season as Larson on for the extra point. Also his 23rd career touchdown at Virginia Tech. And the Hokies now in the opening seconds of the 2nd quarter have a 10-0 lead. Thomas and Virginia Tech celebrating. They're on a 5-game winning streak and looking for more. Virginia Tech running back Dwayne Thomas so far spoiling the homecoming afternoon for the West Virginia fans as his touchdown run gives it a 10-0 lead.
I think again you see that he's trying to run inside, and what happens on the play that there's no hold in the inside, nobody contains the football play, and he just continues to bounce and bounce right outside. What you have to say there is an excellent run by Dwayne Thomas, and that's why he is such a, well, I guess he's leading everything that they ever had at Virginia Tech in terms of the modern era.
There's your scoring drive. They've had excellent field position most of the first half.
That's a Virginia Tech scoring drive right there. 10 plays, almost 4 minutes.
Ada Larson on to kick off. Sean Foreman to the right. Sean Vanderpool to the left. Foreman, of course, blocked that punt earlier.
Now to make this a ball game, West Virginia must answer. We have to see more out of Vanderpool in the return kick here now and really put it to it, get some field position, and then see what West Virginia can do from there. Great kick.
Larson, beautiful boot. And nowhere to go for Vanderpool, so the Mountaineers will take over at their own 20. They have not gotten anything done offensively. Look at the total yards, minus 13.
That kickoff by Larson makes a tremendous difference. Now they've got 80 yards to go.
3 drives for West Virginia, 3 plays and out on all 3 drives.
The big key was the third drive when they had the ball on the 50-yard line, 3 plays and out. That's when you have to take advantage because it's a 31-19 and the 20, which is 80 and 81 yards to go, like they have here. These are tough things, but when you had it on the 50 like they did, they should have made more out of it.
So 1st and 10 for Chad Johnston. Trying to establish some offense. Johnson on a quick drop. Now fires. Incomplete. Vanderpool, the intended receiver. Let's go back to our Big East studios. Another round.
Back to Morgantown and see if the year's offense can warm up. Gentlemen.
Thank you, John. Certainly Don Nehlen wants the offense to warm up. As Johnson warms up with a nice throw to Vanderpool that time across the 30-yard line. Good for a first down and a bit of a sarcastic cheer from the Mountaineer fans.
See, they're all reading a little bit too much into this thing. They've got to get back with the football team. Vanderpool, that's now he got his hands in the correct made. Nice catch, play action pass, first down for them. But you're running against an outstanding Virginia Tech defense, and that makes it very, very tough. And they're playing very disciplined and know what they're doing today.
You see Virginia Tech able to move the chains quite a bit. That's the initial first down of the game for West Virginia. And movement on the offensive line for the Mountaineers. So they'll bring it back 5 yards.
I mentioned before, and I want to mention it again, when you get the pressure that Virginia Tech puts on you, it makes a lot of offensive linemen nervous. And believe me, the cadence, the long cadence like that hurts. I think that West Virginia is going to have to go back to a quick one and get them moving faster.
Tom Habig a little nervous on that one, so a 1st and 15. And the Mountaineers did not score last week against the Syracuse team that played as well as it could possibly play defensively. 3 wide receivers in the game for the Mountaineers. They hit behind the line of scrimmage is Cantroy Barber. Cornell Brown on the tackle. He's already got a sack, and he's one of the very best in Virginia Tech history at that position.
Again, faking pressure, putting pressure on. They put a tremendous load on any offense, and as they've done all year, and they're dominating this football game and really hurting. The numbers are just amazing. I think something like over 130 to a minus yardage for West Virginia. So you can't win football games or even stay in them this way. They've got to sharpen up here.
They call him the best pass rusher in Tech since Bruce Smith.
That's quite a compliment. There's nobody better than Bruce Smith. Reggie White probably the only one who came close.
2nd and 17 on the blitz. Johnson has it tipped. Intercepted. Larry Green. No one's in front of him. Touchdown, Hokies. Green off the deflection. Myron Newsom appeared to get a piece of it. And a 38-yard return for the touchdown.
Now again, Chad has got to take responsibility for this. He gets real good pressure, stands right up in there, throws the football, but right at a linebacker that's able to top it up in the air in the old tip drill. And Larry Green takes the end zone. They're working on him, but
And Newsome, the defensive player of the week last year, or last week I should say, in the great game against Rutgers, comes up with a big play here.
And we said that he would be one of the people that made the big plays, and he certainly did. And Larry Green emerged as one of the other people that has to make him. Ran it in for touchdown.
Larson connects. Larry Green had an interception last week against Rutgers, and that is third of the season. He returns it 38 yards for the touchdown, and here early second quarter, Virginia Tech comfortably in front.
It's a 17-0 lead. Mike?
Thank you, John. It is all Virginia Tech here as well. Early second quarter, Larry Green returns an interception, 38 yards for touchdown. They've had 2 scores early here in this second quarter, as Adel Larson once again will kick off.
In under 2 minutes, really, they've had 2 scores.
Complete domination, as you see by the numbers.
The last kick was right out of the end zone, and he's got the win with him again. And, when you get ahead 17-0, everything gets loose. Watch the kick.
Vanderpool and Foreman are back, and Vanderpool once again has no choice, as West Virginia will start off at their own 20. Let's take a look once again at the defensive score for the Hokies. Johnson had it deflected. Myron Newsome with a big play.
He's eyeing the receiver all the way. Didn't see Newsome get into the pattern, but threw it right at him. Tipped it up, the old tip drill. Larry Green takes it, 38 yards for a touchdown. Extra point, 17-0. The ball comes out to the 20, and the West Virginia offense has got to get something moving here now, because it's down 17-0, and you can't do that against a great defense like Virginia Tech and expect to win.
Green, the junior out of Port St. Lucie, second straight week with the interception. First and 10 for the Mountaineers. The homecoming crowd desperately wants some movement on offense. Johnston play fake, complete. Tony Alexander has it, has some room, gets up to the 35. Lauren Johnson tripped him up.
The same football play to attract the linebacker inside, then put the pressure on the defensive back. Play action pass, then throw it outside to the corner.
16-yard pickup.
That's the 2 outstanding plays I've had on offense. Is this same play right here. Different receiver, same play.
Johnston now 2 of 9 throwing the football. This time up the middle. There's Gary, nowhere to go. George Del Rico meets him at about the 35-yard line and knocks him back.
West Virginia chose to run right into that 7-man front.
And they say if the fumble came before the whistle, it appeared the play was dead.
Boy.
As Lauren Johnson and J.C. Price coming up.
Now, this is a great hit. He must have done it right on the hit, because I thought he was just standing there. We have to see the thing come out. But, you talk about big plays. There's another man you mentioned right there, J.C. Price.
He just took it right out of his hands. And the whistle did come afterwards. J.C. Price, who is having one of the best years for a Tech lineman in a long time, comes up with another big play. But now they say the whistle came dead. This is very confusing. I apologize.
I thought the whistle had blown.
It appeared that he took it away after. We're going to have to take a look at that again as Johnston has it. Fires complete to Saunders at about the 43.
Mike, again, you can see very quickly there was 17-0. That's one of the big plays of the game, where they reversed that call and give it back to West Virginia, because that would have been a dynamite blowout right there if they had a chance with the field position.
Again, I apologize for confusing you out there, but they were signaling it was Tech's ball and then changed it. We're going to take a look at the replay in just a minute. It looked like maybe his knee was down. Johnston takes it himself. He's got the first down and more, down to the 42. George Del Rico on the tackle. Let's go back to our Big East studios. John Sanders.
Ohio State out 14-0. Back to Morgantown.
Well, we had an option to the weak side, which is something they should do, like Virginia Tech is doing offensively, and excited the crowd, because Chance Johnson got excited in the thing. They've moved the football all the way down to the plus side of the football field with a power attack.
So another first down and more whistles and penalty markers. By the way, we received word that on that J.C. Price taking the ball away, that the whistle had blown. And when you look at the replay again that second time, it appeared that his knee was down.
I think really the official signaled the ball going the other way a little bit too soon. They came in and conferred, said the whistle had blown, and gave it back to West Virginia, which apparently looks like the right call as you looked at it on the replay, Mike.
There's nothing wrong with changing the call. The main thing you want to do is get the right one, even if it takes a little bit.
There you go. I think what you want is to make sure that the players play the game and we don't make any mistakes outside as far as officials are concerned.
So off the movement and a penalty of 1st and 15 now for the Mountaineers. They trail 17-0 early in the second quarter. Johnson looking downfield, goes short, incomplete. Intended for Alexander. He's had some pressure on him again.
Well, again, he had the right receiver he went to, but the linebacker went out and took the play away, and Chad Johnson just threw the dirt to make sure he didn't have an interception. The problem comes is the fans think he had a bad pass again, and puts added pressure on the whole offense. But you can't continue. That's the third 1st and 15, 1st and 20 they've had. Very, very tough on an offense, and they're making their own mistakes. I think intimidation by the Virginia Tech defense is what causes a lot of it.
It has been a struggle for Johnson so far this afternoon, but he is in Virginia Tech territory on 2nd and 15. Another play fake under pressure, gets it out to Jimmy Gary. Gary's got some blockers. And Gary spins all the way up close to the first down. A great second effort from Jimmy Gary. Lauren Johnson finally got him.
You know, that's what's great about football. The fans in the stands can see, even though down 17-0. Gary sparks some life. Chad Johnson did before. Those are things that keep everybody going in the football game. We're not giving up here yet. We're going to make sure that we try to do the best we can. That's West Virginia talking. But when you're operating against a team like Virginia Tech and the great defense they have, it's very tough to go 80 yards, and they've already accomplished about 50 of them at least.
And they are just short, as you see. Gary, the senior from Florida, has done a great job backing up. He's getting a lot of action. Robert Walker out with an ankle injury. We have not seen him yet this afternoon. And this one's so close. Good bloodlines in Gary's family. Cleveland Gary, of course, in the NFL, a cousin of Jimmy Gary.
Short yardage. One of the great power plays of football against a power offense and a power defense. And that's exactly what you're going to see now. West Virginia must move the chains in this situation.
Looked like about 6 inches for this third down play for West Virginia. What a big play it is. They trail 17-0 and need to get the offense in gear. Barber, the fullback, has the first down. No better guy to go to on this team than Troy Barber.
Yeah. When you need a first down, number 46 can answer. He's very disciplined there. Had a chance for a big play outside. Just wanted to move the chains, stayed in, pushed it down. You know, he's an outstanding fullback and blocks and does everything that you're going to see a lot of him in the future, I'm positive. Rated one of the high football drafts in the country. Big and strong and
6'3", 245.
Yeah.
Father Rudy played the NFL with Miami and Kansas City. Speaking of good bloodlines.
Yeah, you talk about lineage.
So another first down for the Mountaineers, finally moving the football offensively. And Barber able to get 4 or 5 yards on that first down play. Cornell Brown gets in on the tackle.
Now, West Virginia is doing what Virginia Tech was doing before, mixing the plays up, quick count, long count, and moving the football on first down and right on the quick count and surprise Virginia Tech a little bit. And just a shoestring tackle saved that from being another first down.
This is the 8th play of the drive. Easily their best drive of the first half.
Very easily.
They've been 3 and out every other time. And of course the interception return for the touchdown. Johnston fires, incomplete. Vanderpool a little bit over his head. Simonis on the coverage.
I think that's what you have to say. Simonis is the one that made the play because now he made Chad throw over the top of him to get the play in. And excellent defense on the play-action play to be able to run off and not play the run here.
Vanderpool from Long Island. He's their main wide receiver threat. But no chance of that one. Matt McCulty was checked in. There's a wide out for West Virginia on a 3rd and 6.
It's going to be a pass because they got all of their real powerful running supporters in there.
Johnson throws incomplete, intended for David Saunders. Larry Green right there on the coverage is Cornell Brown. Gives Johnson a little welcome on that one.
He gave him a welcome, then picked him up.
Well, even when they don't get the sacks, they're right there in the backfield.
Now, you said earlier about just what kind of a player he is. They say the best since Bruce Smith at Virginia Tech. I see the best, at Virginia Tech for a long time. And, you can't continue to get pressure in your face. He makes bad passes. That makes a good pass defense.
He has 7 sacks, but he also has 24 quarterback hurries. He is always in the backfield. And they are going for it on 4th and 6. Trailing 17-0 here in the second. Johnson quickly thrown down. Torian Gray on the blitz. And Virginia Tech will take over.
Now that's, here we are in the second quarter. We're talking about a great field goal attempt, could get you 3 points. Because of the 17 by Virginia Tech, it turns it all around, allows them to make a big play, and it makes West Virginia have deep trouble as we go.
Gray last year, first team all Big East. He's the leading tackler in the secondary.
They have him aptly named. They call him a rover in that defensive terminology, and he certainly roves all over the place. Does a fantastic job for him. You talk about a dominating team. Virginia Tech is becoming one rapidly in the Big East.
Oxendine on the pitch. Nowhere to go. Quickly the hole covered by Charles Emmanuel.
Now, looking down the road, when you're talking about Virginia Tech, they might have one loss, but the one loss is something that they played early in the year against BC, and they're in great shape because they have the win that counts, which is the Miami win. So they're in great shape and playing like that today, playing with a lot of confidence. And like Frank said, it's an outstanding football team in all the areas, and they're playing that way.
This 5-game winning streak is the longest win streak for Beamer since he's been in Blacksburg. As you see, more banged up. Jay Haygood limping off. But Beamer's team winning 5 in a row. The last time that the team won 6 in a row, Virginia Tech, that was back in 1967 when Frank Beamer was a defensive back for the team.
His name is synonymous, I think, with Virginia Tech's success. Bill Dooley did an outstanding job building that program also.
Oxendine is crunched as soon as he gets it. Jamie Sweeney with the big hit and another loss. Sweeney, the backup linebacker. Let's set it once again. You can just hear this one from Sweeney. Oxendine makes the catch and then gets greeted.
How many people in America would like to catch this ball?
Ouch.
Those are not excellent receptions for minus yardage yet. So that's football. That's fun.
3rd and 17. Oxendine still out there after that crunch. Druckenmiller in a shotgun. Nice hit as he throws the football. And an incomplete pass.
That's a bad play. That's a bad play by Jim. He can't wait that long. He should have taken off with the football.
Crowd liking what John Browning did. Browning, bothered by the knee injury, didn't start, but wants to get out there and comes up with a big play. He did have plenty of time.
Yes, he did. Once he makes that move, he can't stop and come off that thing. He's going to get hit from someplace. Luckily, he didn't lose the football. And with a score 17-0, he doesn't need to make plays like that.
John Thomas back to punt. Sean Vanderpool back to receive. He'll down it right there. Cornelius White will stop it. That's where West Virginia will take over a 34-yard punt and no return. Mountaineers trailing 17-0. 8:22 to play in the second quarter. It could have been even bigger than that, as the homecoming crowd has seen some turnovers. Larry Green returning an interception, 38 yards for a touchdown. And it's been tough for the offense for the Mountaineers, including this one play where it appeared that J.C. Price had stripped West Virginia of the football, and initially they said it was a turnover. Let's listen and hear for the whistle if the play was dead. Now the whistle came after, but it appeared his knee was down.
And I think that's a good call. Also, when they pull the ball out like that, they must protect the ball carrier some ways. I think officials are very conscious of that also. But a big call in the game because it would have been a disaster from a field position standpoint.
So 1st and 10 for the Mountaineers. They'll start off at their own 38. They moved the football well the last time. It came away empty as Leroy White gets his first call of the afternoon across the 40 to the 42. George Del Rico with the tackle. Del Rico, the leading tackler for the Hokies once again this year.
I think you're going to see West Virginia playing better football since the 17-0. They've waited too long to play in this game, but they've played very well since then, both offensively and defensively and special teams. Now let's see if they can keep it up with 7:57 to go in the second quarter.
Senior makes all the defensive calls out there on the field. It's easy to look up to if you're play defense. Last year led them in tackles, same thing this year. 2nd and 6 after the 40-yard pickup. They fake a reverse as Robert Walker with his first carry of the game, very close to a first down. Walker did not start because of an ankle injury. Tony Morrison breaks him down, but comes up with a big play right there.
You know, you're talking about a great back. It's backs who make people miss. Here's a defensive back sitting right over there waiting for the sweep, gives him the move and cuts right back inside and makes the big play on the thing.
Lovett Purnell with a good block. Let's go back to our Big East studios. Another update with John Sanders.
Mike, we take you to Ohio State once again. This is Eddie George right up the middle into the end zone for the touchdown from the 9. He's over 1,000 yards on the season, and Ohio State laying a licking on Iowa, 28-0. From there, we go to Illinois. Illinois has the lead in the second quarter. They are driving. Robert Holcomb from the 7 squeezes away from a defender into the end zone. It is now 14-3. Illinois surprising Northwestern at this point. Let's go back to Morgantown. Mike?
All right, John. Northwestern's dream season having a tough afternoon against the Fighting Illini. 1st and 10. Ball now at the 48. So Walker able to move the chains on his first carry. Play fake, reverse to Vanderpool. Tries to get outside and thrown down. Antonio Banks not fooled on the play at all.
Antonio was the one that was fooled by 43 when they move inside, but it came right back, and Rasheen Vanderpool didn't fool him. Now again, great call. They faked the reverse this time. This time they run it. But Vanderpool sitting out there with nobody to block on Antonio Banks, and he makes the big play. You can see that he's pretty proud of himself after the last miss.
The open field tackle, that's when you just focus on somebody's legs and wrap around. Don't look at when they try and juke you.
That's it.
So a 2nd and 12.
Get a good offensive series going here. They've settled down and know how they're going to attack here right now.
Play fake, they're going for it. David Saunders overthrown. Banks right there in the coverage. Crowd wanted some interference, but Saunders had no chance of that one. Antonio Banks has bounced back with 2 strong plays in a row.
You know, Chad, again, when you're throwing a post cut like this, you've got to lead the receiver. You can't throw it behind him because he's already got a defensive back beat. And you can't throw it behind him like that because Banks will not let him get there. When you have the shoulder, like that's good pass defense.
There is some contact there, but again, Banks is going for the ball, as is Saunders.
Plus, when he has the shoulder ahead of him, you're not going to call that pass defense. You're not going to call it because you got position, and you can allow to elbow him a little bit and get the arm up there. Good play, man. That's 2 good plays in a row by Antonio Banks.
3rd down and 12. UC Tech comfortably in front. Still plenty of time here in the second quarter. Johnson fires, incomplete. Alexander, the intended receiver. Lauren Johnson right there. And Johnson once again on his back after a play.
When you get 3rd down and long, they just have too much pressure on the quarterback for him to complete these long passes. They got to pass and run with it. Too much pressure. He feels it. He hurries the throws, and it goes too high and outside for him.
And they've changed punters, the Mountaineers, as you see Johnson walking off. He's been whacked all afternoon. John Powers, the junior, comes on. Brian West has struggled, so.
Watch him get a good kick, and they'll say, Coach Nehlen, why haven't you been playing him all year? He's just as loose as a goose. Watching poor Brian go through all the trouble.
They've alternated. Powers gets a high kick, but a short one. And it takes a bounce. It may have hit a Tech player. Yes,
it did.
West Virginia ball.
Yes, it did.
So the short punt works perfectly. for the Mountaineers. And Frank Beamer certainly not pleased.
You're talking about big plays in the special teams. That's how you get back in football games. That's how you lose football games. And it's a sign that everybody gets excited about for you. They got the fans back in. They got the ball with 28 yards to go.
And it may have hit Angelo Harrison as Rob Keys recovers. Harrison's a great special teams player, but it looked like it hit him in the foot, and Rob Keys recovers. Great field position for West Virginia at the Virginia Tech 28. And Walker nowhere to go that time. Jim Barron in on the tackle. Let's go back to our Big East studios. John Sanders with another update, John.
And once again down the interstate, down I-70 to Columbus, Ohio State. Following an interception goes to work. Bobby Hoying, and there he is again. That's Terry Glenn. He now has 7 touchdowns in the last 4 games, 21 on the season. It's all Buckeyes, 28-0. Back to Morgantown, where it's been all Tech so far.
So far, John, but right now West Virginia with a chance to do something about it. They've got 2nd and 9. Johnston has some blockers ahead. Penalty marker thrown as he runs out of bounds at the 23.
The only thing they can be calling there is offensive holding on the wide receiver, because that's the only thing out there with the over there on the side of the play.
And there it is, Dick.
It's a very difficult thing on an offensive receiver, because he's just trying to keep not knowing where the man is going, and holds onto his arm just a little bit to just keep his balance. Those are tough things to call, and I'm not sure that they should be called, because it wasn't a big factor in the football play.
And the way Banks is playing, though, that's probably the only way you're going to get him away from the ball. Second down remain. They'll move it back, though, to the 30, just shy of the 33-yard line. So 2nd and 14.
Now they had 2 wonderful opportunities. They've got to take advantage of the special teams work, because they're down 17-0. Something's got to happen, West Virginia, offensively, score-wise, to get back in this football game.
Tech offense, one of the very best in the nation.
The 3 wide receivers here, Mike.
Robert Walker gets through the hole and gets past the original line of scrimmage. Jim Barron brings him down. It's going to be a 3rd and long, about 3rd and 9 perhaps. Barron, who started earlier in the season, coming out with a couple of tackles here late in the second.
Now, Robert Walker's a great runner, but they put so much pressure on here. He just doesn't have any place to run. He's got to back it inside, where the defensive linemen are waiting for him. And I think it's Price that makes the tackle, isn't it?
So 3rd and 9. West Virginia looking for their first points in quite some time. They didn't score last week. The Tech defense has done a job on him so far here in the first half. Johnston flushed out, trying to go the other way. Has some room, and finally brought down. Didn't have a lot of place to go that time.
Now, Coach Nehlen probably should go for a field goal in this area to get some points on the board. He's in pretty good field position, and he could have had 3 before and went for it on 4th down. I think he learned his lesson.
Hank Coleman made the tackle, but that was because of the pressure that flushed him out of the pocket.
Very wisely knew that he was taking too much time, just kind of protected the ball after this.
J.C. Price, the first
stayed in the
man.
middle of the football field. J.C. Price again.
A 43-yarder now, Brian Bauman. And this one wide right, no good. Now the Mountaineers are still scoreless. It has been a tough afternoon so far for the West Virginia offense. Just under 4 minutes remaining. 2nd quarter in Morgantown, and the Hokies still in command. Virginia Tech has 8 blocks of kicks so far in 95. They almost had their 9th here.
Well, they're not going to have a chance to block anymore, because I think that's the end of the kicks. With 17-0, Donnie's got to go for it the rest of the day.
Jim Barron.
Look at the pressure they have from all over the place. And Byron stayed down on the thing, but Virginia Tech is just playing too good.
Druckenmiller fires. It's complete to Jermaine Holmes. And he gets up to about the 33-yard line on the first down play. Mike Logan right there on the tackle. So give him the extra yard as well. So a second and a little over a yard.
That's when you're operating offensively just the way you want to operate. 2nd and 1, you can do anything you want. You've got 3rd down to come back with it. Get your 1st down easy.
Although both defenses have come up with big plays for losses throughout the first half. Tell you what, the West Virginia defense has played well.
Yes, they have.
But they've been on the field almost the entire first half.
Well, it's a question of opportunities here. They've been able to defense against it.
Druckenmiller going downfield for Holmes. Incomplete. As Mike Logan right there. There was some contact, says Holmes, but no flag on the play.
Well, the play was underthrown, so the receiver was reaching back for it. Very, very good call by Mike Donato, the defensive referee back there, watching the football play. Because that's just exactly what you've got to do.
And again, Logan turns and looks for the ball as well.
That's right.
He had just as fair shot at that as Holmes did.
It's underthrown football that caused the problem. Mike Logan is an excellent athlete, good defender.
Coming back from a broken forearm. He's broken 3 times, actually. 3rd and 1. 3 minutes remaining. First half, 17-0. Virginia Tech still in front. Same play. Druckenmiller to Holmes. He's got this one and loses it. Let's see if they say the ground caused the fumble. Yes, they say the ground caused the fumble. A complete pass. And the crowd certainly does not like that call.
Somebody else has got to help Mike on the play to see if it is. He's got to mark the ball and spot it and make the catch.
Now Nehlen furious.
We now have a chance through the replay to see just exactly what the official saw.
Well, the ground did cause the fumble. I don't know if he had great control, but he had the football.
No, he didn't have great control of the thing. He's still trying to catch it. His knees are on the ground. It's a bad call. Some of the officials should have helped him. Mike had too much to do in that one play all by himself.
Ryan Edmonds goes nowhere. Quickly hit. But you look, Holmes had it as he came down, but it didn't look like he had secure position in his arms. Let's look at it one more time.
See, he's still trying to catch it. It's underneath his hands and his arms, bobbling in the thing. It's no play. But again, when you're 17-0 ahead, you can try those kind of football plays and gain this field position when you're 3rd down and 1. That's tough on a defense to try to defend everything.
The one thing I'm sure the officials say, he did not lose the football until he did hit the ground. But Don Nehlen upset.
He should be.
Druckenmiller on a play action. And Bernard Russ right there with another big defensive play. Edmonds has nowhere to go. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, a lot of big games going on around the nation, and John Sanders will be back in our Big East studio. A lot of the highlights. And we'll also have a feature on what is becoming a very intense rivalry.
Intense
the Hokies
rivalry.
And the Mountaineers.
There's only one West Virginia guy on the team. I think they made him walk up here to be a part of it. I don't think they like each other. It's a great rivalry, though. You can see good sportsmanship, good clean football. And I've admired the way it's been that way all over the Big East.
Raphael Williams, the backup defensive lineman, is the only Hokie from West Virginia. 3rd and 13. Mountaineer defense upset after that call. Druckenmiller hit as he throws. And that one is complete. Tremaine Holmes with a tough catch.
Well, they're certainly getting all the breaks. You know, they're making the great plays when they need to make them. And you've got to give credit to the West Virginia defense, how they're playing. And 17-0 is the score. But by the same token, could be a lot more, I think, Mike, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, they have dominated at times as West Virginia's offense has been unable to get on track. Holmes with a tough catch.
I think they've called it incomplete, complete. Now they're going to confer on it.
Well, again, the bottom line is let's get it right. From the angle we had, it looked like it, but we had it from behind.
Now Frank is upset.
Oh, there's a holding penalty. All right. So it doesn't matter whether he caught it or not.
I think that got the ball down there kind of in a shady area and a shady call. I think they're trying to get it back where it belongs.
So the holding will bring it back. And again, we apologize for Al Hines' microphone. We had some real bad weather earlier with some thunderstorms. See if at halftime we can get that cleared up. So they'll bring the ball all the way back to the Virginia Tech 49-yard. Just a little over a minute remaining here in the first half. 17-0. Hokies in front.
They were down 17 to 20-0 against Purdue in the opening ball game right here. So West Virginia is kind of used to this, but Virginia Tech is playing real well defensively. It's going to be hard for them to score 17.
Not an easy team to come from behind against. Play action from Druckenmiller. Going for the end zone. Brian Still. And he overthrows him again. Charles Emmanuel right with Still. And it'll be a 4th down, and John Thomas will come on to punt.
You know, they live on the big plays. It's amazing that with 3rd down and 35 that somebody's able to get by him like that. Just amazing.
Once again, John Sanders back at our Big East studios coming up at halftime. A little less than a minute remaining here at half. All the highlights and scores from around the nation and the feature on the West Virginia rivalry.
West Virginia dodged the bullet on that one.
And Thomas gets this one off. Vanderpool will pick it up. Breaks one tackle, cuts inside, gets across the 20 to the 22. Lawrence Lewis in there on the stop, and West Virginia will take over with 43 seconds remaining in the first half. Still looking for their first points.
Very aggressive play there by Rashawn. With that field position, though, you can look for Don Nehlen probably to just eat the clock up and get out of here 17-0 and try to regroup and come out with a dynamic second half, because they'll have the ball, and as sure as he runs the football, you see him get booed.
41-yard punt.
They pay money, but they love to do what they want to coach too.
Robert Walker across the 20. And our resident Swami makes the right prediction. Here come the boos. Jim Barron on the stop.
At least I know my crowds if I don't know football.
Well, you never got booed in your coaching career, did you?
I thought they were. When we had Donnie McPherson, they were talking about McPherson all the time. I always thought they were talking about the quarterback, but they really were talking about me.
So
they booed, that is. Let's say this. 17-0. West Virginia is lucky to get out with a 17-0 score. Congratulations to Virginia Tech for being such a good football team and play you did the way you did in the first half.
And they don't get off the final play. More boos from the homecoming crowd. They've sold out Mountaineer Field, but not a good first half. 17-0. Virginia Tech leading at halftime. Right now, let's go back to our Big East studios and John Sanders. Some of the numbers, again, the total yards completely dominating by Virginia Tech. West Virginia unable to get things going in terms of rushing the ball. You know, they only have 19 yards, but now they're going to have to throw because they are down, but not right away. They can still mix it up early in the third quarter.
We said earlier that special teams is a key in this thing. You can see that nobody is really dominating the thing offensively. Special teams given the field position that Virginia Tech needs to score, and quite honestly, they should have scored more points in the first half, but I'm sure they're happy with the 17-0 score right now.
On a sold-out stadium, 63,500. Chad Johnston has had his ups and downs this season. He has shown flashes, but the consistency has not been there.
I think the way they start right here now, Mike, it makes an awful big difference, because they're going to get the ball because they deferred to the first half. And if they can give Ramona a second half attack like they did before, I think we're going to be in good shape.
Such a critical game for Don Nehlen. Again, his team comes in 3-4 overall. They're 2-1 in the Big East. For them to have any shot at the Big East championship, they certainly have to win this afternoon, and they also have to make sure, for them to secure a bowl bid, that they get those 6 wins against Division 1A opponents.
Well, you know, let's face it. If you don't get 6 wins against Division 1A opponents, you don't belong in the bowl.
Absolutely.
So I think that is a very, very good rule, and they have got to pay attention to that as they come out here in the second half. You know, Larson has been kicking these things in the end zone, which makes an 80-yard drive for West Virginia, and let's see if they can return that thing out of there. But he's got a powerful leg, and because he's got the wind with him on this kick, he's been lucky in that aspect today. Making
sure Rashawn Vanderpool doesn't have a chance to bring it back. He's one of the premier guys in that department, and once again can't do it. So West Virginia will take over at their own 20. Don Nehlen knows this is a game that's so critical. He will not downplay just how critical it is.
Well, there's no question. If we lose this game today, we're probably history, because you're not going to win this league with more than 2 losses, and you're not going to win it with 2 losses. We have one. Virginia Tech has one. They lost to BC. I think they're on a roll right now. Somebody's going to have to beat Virginia Tech. I think they're on a roll, and they're in here today. Let's take a crack at them.
That's a competitor, Don Nehlen. And they're taking a crack, and here comes the second half crack. Down 17-0.
Johnson will throw on the first play in the second half, and he completes on the first one. Vanderpool with the catch at about the 34-yard line. Rare time where he has plenty of time to throw.
That weak side play action football play has been the best pass they've had all football day. I'm sure you're going to see it more in the second half, especially with Vanderpool sitting over there playing the split end.
So a 14-yard pickup, and you see Vanderpool moving up on the all-purpose yardage. That time, little gain on the run, as Myron Newsom quickly comes up and makes the stop. And Barber, not a lot of room.
I think they have to continue attacking the tight end with the run game to make sure that they respect the run so they can throw the weak side play, which is the thing they're setting up all the time.
Nehlen's team in the second half have been strong, but so is Virginia Tech. In fact, in the last 2+ seasons, when Tech is leading at halftime, they're 20-1. They've got a 17-0 cushion. Jansen under pressure, and Cornell Brown with the sack. Second sack of the afternoon for Brown, and Johnson has been getting up all afternoon after being knocked down.
You know, they only had 2 receivers out, maximum protection, and still with the great surge and rush and harassment by the Virginia Tech front 7, really. They just have nobody open. Chad very wisely hangs onto the football, makes it a 3rd down and long situation, but at least they had that situation and didn't get themselves into trouble.
Tech 5th in the nation in scoring defense, and they have not given up a point so far today. Johnston again, brought down as the sack just continues. Cornell Brown and Waverly Jackson right there. J.C. Price. Price actually would get credited with that one. If it's not one guy, it's another, Dick.
Well, it's momentum. It's Virginia Tech saying, no, you're not going to score at all, West Virginia. Now they're going to the kicking game. Who are they going to this time? Is it back to West?
Nope, John Powers.
John Powers is back.
Once again, they'll give that credit, by the way. Brown will get the sack on that one, and almost a block. Angelo Harrison right there. Larry Green signals for a fair catch back at his own 38-yard line, and that's where the Hokies will take over. So Powers, replacing Brian West, has got off a couple of pretty solid punts. That one from 40 yards away. Virginia Tech ball with the lead. Virginia Tech leading 17-0. They have the football for the first time in the second half.
And they won the field position. West Virginia started on the 20 with 80 to go. With the punt, they're starting on the 40 with 60 to go. So everything is in the favor of Virginia Tech right now. As long as they don't do anything stupid, they've got complete control of this football game.
Druckenmiller to throw on first down. Fires complete to Brian Still, and he's knocked out of bounds at midfield. Good for the first down. There's Emmanuel and Beasley right there, but an 11-yard pickup.
Now, when you watch the action here, you'll see that Jim Druckenmiller probably threw this ball better than any he's thrown all day. He really stepped into this thing and let that thing fly right into the hole. And so he's loose with the 17-0 lead. Makes everybody loose. They can do a lot of things they couldn't have done early in the game.
Still a big play receiver. You see, averaging just under 20 yards per catch. They love to go deep to him. They love to go to Dwayne Thomas up the middle, and he gets maybe 4 yards. J.T. Thomas among those in on the stop.
Hey, John.
You know, you have to watch very closely, but J.T. Thomas, number 41 middle linebacker for West Virginia, is a key run defender. Excellent football play. Just continues to play well. I know that Virginia Tech wants to run the ball a little bit more to put this thing away, but West Virginia has not let it do it very well.
Thomas, it seems, is always around the football. 2nd and 6. The Hokies have mixed it up nicely between passing and running, and Druckenmiller didn't like what he saw on that one, so he's going to call the timeout. First one, obviously, of the third quarter. Virginia Tech looking for their 6th win in a row. They haven't had a 6-game winning streak since 1967, when head coach Frank Beamer was a starter in the defensive secondary. Homecoming weekend for the Mountaineers in a packed stadium, although some of the people, because of the rain, left a little bit early. Certainly not happy with the Mountaineer performance thus far. A lot has to do with just a super play of Virginia Tech as they look for their 6th straight win. They lead at 17-0. Druckenmiller on a 2nd and 6. A quick handoff and nowhere to go is Dwayne Thomas, Jamie Sweeney, and Kevin Lando right there to greet him.
Now again, just a delayed draw. Good call in this situation. But by the same token, West Virginia playing good defense in spite of the 17-0 score. And Virginia Tech's got to get something established offensively in the second half here.
They've done all right on 3rd downs. This one a 3rd and 7 after the loss of 1. Druckenmiller for the sideline. Incomplete. Jermaine Holmes looked like he was running one route, and then Druckenmiller expecting another. So punting situation for the Hokies. John Thomas coming on. Good defensive series here at Mountaineer Field. Mike Breen along with Dick McPherson. Our producer Paul Carlson. Director Jimmy Edmonds. Terrific crew on hand. Rashawn Vanderbilt back to receive once again at his own 10-yard line. Thomas handles the snap. And Vanderpool will fall for a fair catch. So West Virginia will take over at their own 10. 37-yard kick, but he gets it inside the 20. Beautiful punt from Thomas. Gets his job done.
Nice fair catch. Ball on the 15-yard line. A lot of pressure on the punter, but he did just exactly what he got the ball high in the air and good coverage. And their special teams are performing real well.
Now, what can West Virginia do offensively, Dick, to offset the pass rush that is just always in Chad Johnson's face?
I don't think they can. They've done everything. Virginia Tech's just too powerful for their offensive line. We're not trying to knock the West Virginia offensive line. It's just a great talent, Virginia Tech.
Robert Walker as a hole. William Yarbrough finally brings him down, but not before first down up to the 29-yard line.
Again, a coordination with 2 guys going inside on the rush, and he runs it right down to the safety. But those are the things that excite people. And, the guy that can do it for you is Robert Walker.
Walker, the school's 2nd all-time leading rusher behind Artie Owens. He will probably break that this season. But he didn't start today with an ankle injury, but now starting to come on. Another call, another hole. Myron Newsom brings him down at about the 35. But another solid pickup.
Tony Alexander's playing the wide receiver and making some good blocks. That's allowing him to get down the football field because the corner can't be a factor in the play.
And of course, Cantroy Barber, the fullback, is such a bull. 2nd and 4. Robert Purnell, the tight end, in motion. He has been quiet in terms of pass catching today. Walker again, tripped up behind a line of scrimmage. Brandon Simonis gets in the backfield and makes the hit.
You got to give the young man credit. I saw him yesterday in the locker room, almost passed out with the flu, high temperature. Didn't even come out on the field for the lazy man's practice on Friday. And here the great effort that he gives on this football play. Leaps over the thing and just tries to leg whip wherever he can to disrupt the offense, and he sure did.
Simonis, in addition to the flu, he suffered a concussion last week against Rutgers. Didn't play much in the second half. One of their better defensive players. 3rd and 10. Johnston on the play fake, fires, complete to Vanderpool, and brought down at the 40. Lauren Johnson made the tackle, and it's a good thing he did, because if Vanderpool would have scooted away, there was no one in front of him.
Well, that was an all-out blitz, and a great protection. But you got to give the offensive line credit for something. Masterful protection, wisely done, and the Vanderpool's right there to make the throw, but they were coming after him.
Johnson, the freshman, making the tackle, but not before they'll move the chains again. Pitch goes to Walker. Myron Newsom greets him, and he's brought down maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
Now, I think you can watch Brian Newsom on this football play and watch the perfect technique he uses. Just keeps the feet moving, good balance, make sure that he can make the play, and I think we're going to get a replay on this. It's a classic lesson on how to play a defense by a linebacker. There's Myron right there.
Big East Defensive Player of the Week.
Yeah, excellent defense. Nice tackle.
Against Rutgers, returned an interception, 71 yards for TD last week. Johnson going to kick it out to Gary. Not a nice thing to do considering Del Rico and Simonis were right there.
Very, very bad selection. Chad should have just turned that upfield and got what he can out of it. They had that well defended.
Gary's system, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, I see 3 Hokies. You take it.
Yeah. It's just one of those plays. You just duck it in and get 2 or 3 yards positive and move it on from there.
So a 3rd and 10. You know, we keep talking so much about the West Virginia struggles offensively, but boy, you got to give so much of the credit to superior defense.
Well, you also talk about don't get yourself to 3rd down and 10 situations. Too much pressure on you.
Johnson throws complete. Saunders with the catch. And it's in Virginia Tech territory, so it should be a 1st down, and it is. Big play.
Yeah, and West Virginia receivers better make sure that he doesn't take himself out of the 1st down area. Just can't get too fancy here, because I think he had a little bit more on this thing than they gave him, but it was good enough to move the chains.
Saunders, one of the real surprises this year, leads the team in yards per catch. As Barber, with a 2nd effort, able to somehow get a few yards out of the play. Del Rico among those in on the stop, along with Cornell Brown. We've seen a little bit of spurts from the offense, but again, nothing sustained, and that's been West Virginia's problem all year. There has not been consistency. They lost their opener, then won, then lost and won. They've never won or lost more than 2 in a row all year. No 2-game winning streaks at all.
Well, the other thing about it is that they've only risen to the occasion one time against Boston College when they were challenged. They had to have a win. They got it. Now they've got to be coming back in the 2nd half here. But you've got to like what you see about Virginia Tech. They're so well balanced offensively and defensively. He knows he's got a good defense. He's going to stay with it all the way because he's not going to make mistakes on offense.
Mountaineers call timeout. A little over 8 minutes remaining in the 3rd. Tech still comfortably in front. 3rd quarter at Mountaineer Field. West Virginia with a 2nd and 7. They trail 17-0 to Virginia Tech. Jimmy Gary gets the call, bounced outside, and can't get away from George Del Rico, who just wouldn't let him go. And a penalty marker thrown.
Usually coming from that area, it's on the offense and possibly holding. You know, you've got to admire the running ability of the West Virginia running backs, but boy, oh boy, it's tough against that Virginia Tech defense.
Holding offense, a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat 2nd down.
Virginia Tech #1 in the Big East in rushing defense, 4th in the nation. Teams are averaging just 85.7 yards per game against them and only 2.1 yards per carry. Those are just great numbers.
And the 8-man front, they put the extra man up there and challenge you to throw the football, and you've got to throw it well. And West Virginia's got to decide to do that pretty soon because, you know, you're down 17 points and they've got to go to a pass offense here. And I think Donnie's waiting very wisely to see what he can do here, but it's going to come pretty soon.
So 2nd and 17 after the penalty. Johnson on a play fake under pressure again, and he's brought down once again. Jimmy Barron with the sack this time. Barron's had a strong afternoon.
Now we talk about the fierce rush of Virginia Tech, but it's a 4-man rush, and this time it's coverage and real pressure inside, but he has got no place to throw the football. He's got to tuck it away and take the hit.
And now let's take a look at our out-of-town scores, brought to you by John Hancock, official worldwide sponsor of the 1996 Olympic Games. 3rd and 24. Johnson on a draw. Troy Barber gets back across into Virginia Tech territory, but well short of the first down. Back to the original line of scrimmage. And a 4th down coming up. Torian Gray makes the tackle. So Powers once again on the punt. Larry Green is back. Green's had already a touchdown today. That returning an interception, 38 yards for a score.
Does an excellent job in terms of the intelligence factor of when to catch these things deep and when to let them go. Controls the thing.
Tech great at blocking punts. Powers, another poor kick, but he gets it inside the 20, and it bounces down, where Virginia Tech will take over at their own 8-yard line. Maybe not like the way it sounded, went off his foot, but again, the end result, all that matters, a 39-yard kick and poor field position for Virginia Tech.
I think when they're kicking from the punting from the 50, with that punting, it's always going to work out well because they can't get in the end zone anyway. It's just bouncing around on them. Donnie, I think, is now deciding on a wide punter or a deep punter. It's a real problem for that football team, and one that's hard to correct during the season. It's really very obvious they don't have anybody that can punt very well.
It's always the last things you talk about when you're speaking of matchups and who's good and who's not, and it's plays such a huge factor week in and week out. Druckenmiller straight up the middle with the handoff to Thomas. Bernard Russ on the stop, but a strong run for Dwayne Thomas once again, maybe 8 yards.
Now, this is Virginia Tech's game here, being ahead 17-0. They're just eating up the clock, trying to get this game down, just exactly the way that Frank Beamer wants to play this right now. The clock is the thing they've got, is their own worst enemy, because they've got the great points that they need, and with the Virginia Tech defense.
Druckenmiller, the junior, has become the leader of this offense. Holds on to it, kicks it out for Thomas, has a lot of room, easily with a first down up to the 29-yard line. Van Washington stops him, but not before another big gain from Thomas, who's now starting to rack up the yards.
Great hit by the free safety Van Washington, but when the free safety is making a lot of tackles for you, they're going to be moving the chain.
14-yard pickup and another first down.
Both teams running that weak side option very well.
Druckenmiller looks like he's changing the play on the first down. Thomas again broke one tackle, but not further after that as Van Washington right there on the stop. Washington's been very active.
Now, Jimmy's made 2 real good tackles as the free safety. Van Washington has. What he's got to do now is back off, because you should see a football play right down the middle off of play action, and he's got to start playing pass defense, because he's done a tremendous job in terms of stopping the run. When the free safety's stopping it, you're not playing very good defense up front.
He's good at pass defense, 7 career interceptions. 2nd and 8. Druckenmiller, that's Brian Still. Still scoots through a hole and taken down at the 39. Bernard Russ once again coming way across the field to make the tackle, just shy of the first down.
The timing on this play with the pulling of the offensive tackle, the block down by the wide receiver, is the 3rd time they've run this extremely well today, and the wide receivers really can time up this trap block. And watch the tackle coming out here, and watch the squeeze on the football play, and here comes the trap right there, and he's right down the football field on it. Running it well.
Jermaine Holmes also with a nice block to help still bide some time. So 3rd and 1. Thomas backs in, and it appears that he'll have it.
It's going to be awful close if he has it.
Canute Curtis on the tackle.
Let's see where they mark the ball. Now you can watch it real close here is where the ball should be marked. J.T. Thomas right up there slowing him down, caused a spin. Yes, he has it very easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good spot by the officials, first down.
They're going to measure it, but just by the way the ball is, it appears that they've got it.
Yes, they have, yeah. And legitimately so. But J.T. Thomas came over the top and spun him around on the thing.
So they'll move the chains again. Frank Beamer likes the way his offense has come along. They've sputtered a little bit early, but they have really scored a lot of points the last couple of weeks. 122 points the last 2 games prior to this afternoon. And the offense not responsible for all those scores today. Again, the defense scoring a touchdown.
Now, for people here booing in the stands, what you have to understand is this. Virginia Tech is playing the way they should play. They're playing good defense by moving the ball and moving the clock. They've taken over 3 minutes off on this drive alone.
Druckenmiller fires. Ryan still couldn't get it, as Aaron Beasley was right there. Still no doubt heard his footsteps. So a 2nd and 10 coming up. Third quarter has gone quickly. First half really took a long time, but we're already under 3 minutes remaining here in the third. There's Druckenmiller's numbers. Nothing spectacular, but he's done the job when he's had to. He's had some big third down passes.
I think they've been able to mix it up and being where they are field position-wise, score-wise, clock-wise. It's all in their favor right now, and you've got to commend them because Ricky Bustle, who was sick last week, is up here in the press box today playing a real good football.
Thomas trying to get outside and does. Breaks 2 tackles and then finally brought down. Terry Souverain on the tackle.
You can see that the Virginia Tech backs are into the strategy of the game. They're not taking the ball out of bounds at all. They keep the clock moving. It's third down and short yardage. They'll pound away at this thing.
What West Virginia could use is a big play from the defense, a turnover, because the offense struggling. That's something they really need, although Virginia Tech is being very smart with the football.
Yeah, I think that they're not a big play team. They're just a sound, solid team and make the plays if other people make mistakes.
And they got what appears to be the first down as Brian Edmonds gets just to midfield. And right now, let's go back to our Big East studios. Another update with John Sanders.
Mike, we take you back to Tennessee once again. Fake field goal on 4th down. The holder, Jason Price, stands up and races into the end zone from the 15. Tennessee on a roll. The 5th-ranked Volunteers leading South Carolina 35-7. Big East updated 16-14 now. Pitt has the lead over Rutgers. Pitt getting touchdowns from Gels on a pass, Harris on a 74-yard run, Battaglia a touchdown catch for Rutgers, and Terrell Willis an 83-yard touchdown rob. But the Big East Special Teams Player of the Week, Forensic with a field goal. That's the difference there. Pitt leading Rutgers. Let's go back to Morgantown. Mike and Dick.
Thank you, John. Boy, both teams, Pitt and Rutgers, desperately needing a win.
Well, I think, we haven't seen much scoring in the second half here. It's 17-0, but the challenger has got to be West Virginia because Virginia Tech is playing the game just the way they want to play it right now, eating the clock up, down under 2 minutes in the third quarter left, and moving the football. And now they got a first down, which is going to take you into the fourth quarter before they get rid of it.
Druckenmiller play action. He's back behind the line of scrimmage. Somehow gets it off anyway. As John, check that Kevin Landau, John Thornton. Oh, Landau was the man back there. Excuse me.
Now that's the big play that West Virginia wanted that you talked about, and to get him with a 17-0 lead, to toss the ball around crazy like this is get somebody to pick position. He doesn't need to do this right now. Shouldn't be doing it. Eat the football and take the second down and see what happens from there.
Big play from Landau, the freshman from New Jersey. 2nd and 10. All the scoring done in the first half as they kick it out to Wayne Thomas again. Thomas spins, gets down to about the 43-yard line, shy of the first down.
Both football teams offensively have been running that weak side option, and they're selecting it from an automatic system. Virginia Tech has accepted it real well because there's nobody on the pitch taking the quarterback and marching down the football field and been able to get first downs or get themselves into positions for first downs off of the thing. Marching the thing down to 1 minute left, and the clock is its only enemy right now.
As we have a whistle. Flags. Thomas, by the way, had 44 yards rushing in the first half. He's got 40 here. Check that, 41 in the third quarter alone, so he's on his way to another big afternoon.
See
Let's
which
get the call.
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It has been a tough afternoon for Don Nehlen.
It must have touched somebody. I think the defense is allowed to move like that unless somebody on offense moves himself. I don't know why they stop the clock on it. The defense can move unless they draw somebody off offensively. It's a new rule, but so there had to be some contact somewhere on the line of scrimmage that caused it. There's your contact right there from a replay standpoint.
Henry Slay.
Great job out of the truck. Answered my question at least.
Thomas spins off one tackle and maybe gets a yard, but not much more than that. Let's go back to our Big East studios. John Sanders.
They head into the fourth quarter. We're winding up the third quarter in Morgantown. Let's go back to Mike and Dick.
Thank you, John. Couple of shutouts. Penn State pitching one right now. Virginia Tech trying to hold West Virginia scoreless for the second straight week. And you're going to see the fourth quarter wind down.
You can see the clock management by Frank Beamer and his staff. They have got the 17-point lead, and they're going to try to take a victory home and not make any mistakes.
Fourth quarter set to begin in Morgantown. An overcast day on homecoming weekend. Virginia Tech leading West Virginia 17-0 here at Mountaineer Field. And you see two sets of hash marks. What's that mean, Coach?
Well, really what it means is that the rule changed a couple of 3 years ago, and it shows you that West Virginia football field, AstroTurf, is more than 2 or 3 years old, because they were painted in, sewed in, you couldn't get them out, so they just moved it in. The officials are told, ignore the yellow ones, play the white ones, new rule. And as all rules are, being an old defensive coach myself, they're always there to help the offense, to take away something that, I don't know, but it doesn't help the defense, but it doesn't look like it's hurting Virginia Tech today at all, I'll tell you.
Sir. Defensive guys never change.
I wonder if you could understand that explanation I gave at all.
Druckenmiller on play action under a little pressure, fires complete to Brian Jennings, the tight end.
Touchdown.
And Tech scores again. 37-yard touchdown pass, Druckenmiller to Jennings.
Now again, the touchdown was caused by a wide receiver blocking and keeping the guy in the end zone. Great bootleg call, run game, bootleg, and just about putting this game away from a solid standpoint, unless they make some big mistakes.
Jennings, the 6'4" junior, has become a threat as he picks up. He's one of 5 Hokies in double-digit receivers in terms of receptions, and Druckenmiller certainly pleased with that one.
Well, it's a great call from that strong running game into the bootleg action, tight end across the football field.
Ada Larson connects, and Virginia Tech in complete control. Jennings with a touchdown catch. He's got 13 receptions this year, had only 4 of last year. Comes up with a big one this afternoon. Some togetherness at Mountaineer Field despite the score for West Virginia. And speaking of togetherness, we want to congratulate our director, Jimmy Edmonds, who last Sunday got married to the lovely Kathleen. We congratulate the newlyweds and hope Kathleen makes better decisions in the future, because this decision is very, very questionable.
He's made good decisions with the cameras here today, though.
Well, he made a great decision. I don't know about Kathleen, though.
Oh, I see. Okay. Kathleen in Rochester. Hello. You know, one of the objects of a visiting team, especially to a sold-out homecoming crowd, is to take the crowd out of the game. But this is really something that West Virginia's got to pay attention to. Not only taking them out of the game, they're sending them home. They're all leaving the stands. And that's not right to show loyalty to the great, what the pride of the West Virginia State is, this football team. Should be staying a little bit longer.
Larson will kick off. Vanderpool at his own 8. Big block from Foreman. Vanderpool not a lot of room to go. Still on his feet, however. And finally knocked out of bounds at about the 22-yard line. And that's where the Hokies will take control. They lead at 24-0. Opening of the fourth.
You know, Rashawn Vanderpool can play for a lot of people. With that kind of an effort, down 24-0 at the start of the fourth quarter, he's doing everything he can to get people excited and get in this football game. Now we're going to have to do what West Virginia did not want to have to do, is to throw the ball in every down and try to get back in this game. And they've got to. This is when you could see either great success or great disaster.
Of course, the Mountaineers taking over, and they do so with Eric Boyka, the backup quarterback, in there for Chad Johnston. He hands it off. And not a lot of room once again. This defense of Virginia Tech, just incredible. there you see Boykin's numbers. Hasn't played a heck of a lot. Transfer from Michigan.
He's out of Dayton, Ohio, and it's just tough for him to be standing on the sidelines all day and try to come in and resurrect a 24-0 behind football team.
Played well against East Carolina. As you see Boykin under pressure, showing some mobility, but then thrown down. Lawrence Lewis with the sack.
Boy, I'll tell you, they are relentless. And can they run? Have they got speed, determination?
Well, it's fitting that Boykin feels what Chad Johnson has felt all afternoon. Constant pressure.
You know, I know a lot of the Syracuse football players are watching this game along with the coaches. They know they're going to have their work cut out down in Blacksburg, Virginia next week. But that's what's great about a conference, that they know there'll be a big game coming up again next week for the conference championship, possibly.
Speaking of backup quarterbacks, we want to send our best wishes to Wilkie Perez, the third-string quarterback for the Mountaineers, who underwent an appendectomy this past Thursday.
Emergency.
As you see the run over to the 16-yard line, Barber getting at the crowd booing, as they don't like to see rushing plays when they're down 24-0. But again, our best to Wilkie Perez is only about 200 yards away from the field in the hospital, close by to Mountaineer Field.
You know, Dan Timrose wanted to ask me the question, are they following the game plan? No, they're not anymore. When you're down 24-0, the game plan goes out of the window. Now you've got to start throwing the football. I think you'll see it on the next series.
John Powers on to punt once again. Larry Green is back, fields it at his own 43. Slips and falls just shy of midfield. Ken Fisher right there. 41-yard punt for Powers. Virginia Tech and Frank Beamer in total control this afternoon on the road.
You know, it's been a tough week for West Virginia all week, coming back off a big loss to Syracuse, trying to get things squared away. Then on Wednesday or Thursday, Wilkie Perez had an emergency appendectomy, and everybody feels bad for him. We want to make sure we say hello to him. Show a picture of you, Wilkie, because the coach wanted us to. Let you know that we're all rooting for you. The parents are up there. He's going to be fine, but it was scary there for a while. Handsome guy out of Miami, South Florida. They're undefeated. They don't miss you down there at all, Wilkie.
So, 1st and 10 for Virginia Tech. Druckenmiller kicks it out as Oxendine spins. Still going. Tackle at about the 43-yard line. Kerry Siverin on the stop. Bernard Russ has given an all-out effort. He's played well this afternoon. But the defense has been out there just too long, as the West Virginia offense has really struggled once again.
Well, there's nothing wrong with the West Virginia defense for what they've been able to accomplish here this afternoon. But by the same token, they've got to get a little bit more firepower out of their offense. Sure, get a better special teams if they're going to win a lot of football games here in the late stages of 1995.
Druckenmiller throws it high for Brian Stell. Intercepted by Van Washington. And the Mountaineers will take over at their own 4.
Now,
even though it's 24-0 and the game is in control, don't understand that.
Well, I think that, you know, they should be eating up the clock, but whatever they want to do, I guess they want to get some more points or something. But by the same token, the receivers not running good patterns here. They're coming too far across the football field in the post cuts. Should stay long and let the quarterback throw the ball up in the air. So there's a miscommunication. So I'm not sure the receiver didn't cause a lot of this. But Van Washington is playing great football.
Druckenmiller, I think he knew when he released it. Certainly knew after.
Yeah.
Eric Boykin to Leroy White. White has nowhere to go. Brandon Simonis still with his arms wrapped around him. Well, West Virginia has not had good field position. 8 of their 12 drives have been on their 22-yard line, or less than that, or worse than that, I should say. And they just haven't be able to get it going.
Yeah, well, you know, it's self-inflicted. You know, and the special teams are causing it, and they've got to start generating some offense here to get this crowd that's remaining back in this football game.
Boykin will throw. Incomplete for Vanderpool. He had to release it in a hurry. Again, the pressure coming up. Tell you what, as good as Syracuse played last week against West Virginia defensively, And Syracuse not known to be a great defensive team, but they really had a great game. Virginia Tech is up to the task as well this week. But that's what they're known for.
You know, West Virginia with the offense being shut out 2 weeks in a row is going to make for another long week coming up.
Boykin on the pitch. Curtis Keaton run out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Brandon Simonis right there.
You know, here's a young man, again, we talked about other people doing this. Simone does a great job of setting this thing up and getting the feet moving. You know, this is really a good football play. Nice option series. Dangerous down here in the end zone. He's running out of the end zone with it. But watch the feet action here.
Powers will punt. Now, even though it's 24-0, and again they haven't been able to get going, why not throw the ball at this point?
I think field position. He's just trying to save his life here right now. I think that he will as soon as he gets field position. I think also Eric is a little bit better run-pass guy than Chad is, and I think they were trying to move the football with the option series and so forth.
Nice high punt from Powers, 38 yards. Larry Green with a fair catch. Virginia Tech takes over in West Virginia territory.
Now I think you will see them settle down and drive the football down, eat the clock up, and head down home. I think that we're going to see that as we come back from this commercial.
Quarter action in Morgantown. Mike?
Thank you, John Sanders. As you see, time remaining still early in the fourth quarter, and what has turned out to be a beautiful day at Morgantown in terms of weather. In terms of Mountaineer football, it has been an ugly day.
Well, except for a half hour or so of the weather's been perfect, but we sure had an awful way to start this football game. Now watch him eat up the clock.
Druckenmiller still in the game. This time to Oxendine. Oxendine has some room outside, cuts inside, he's still going. Tackled from behind at the 18 by Van Washington. Oxendine, just the sophomore. There's a penalty flag though on the play, and it's going to go against Virginia Tech, so they'll bring it back.
I think we're getting a lot of holding calls on wide receivers as they're keeping players out of the football game. That's what I see of the flag coming late, and that's usually what happens.
So this will negate.
Illegal block above the waist and in the back. A 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
Negates a 25-yard pickup. There, the bottom left side of your screen is the penalty.
You know, it's kind of a tough thing to call because your defender is turning on the man as he makes the block, and those things are very, very questionable because you don't know what you can do, but he can't get off the thing. You can see he wasn't violent on the play.
So they mark it at the 30, just inside the 35. Oxendine tries to get away and does. Now cuts back. Run out of bounds. Kerry Severin once again. He's come out here in the second half, made a bunch of tackles. Still plenty of time remaining in what has been a long, long afternoon for West Virginia and the defense. Not because they haven't played well, because they've been on the field all day.
Well, it's it's amazing that the score is 24-0 with all the attempts. Can't imagine how many plays that Virginia Tech has run versus how many plays West Virginia.
Marcus Parker gets perhaps 2 yards on the first down run. J.T. Thomas on the stop.
Now, what the West Virginia fans watching on TV or in the stands here should know that there is a lot of football players at West Virginia that don't ever give up. And that's something that you should be admiring and cheering for and helping them stay even when it's down 24-0. J.T. Thomas, for any one of these fellas, stay right in the game and play. That's a lot of credit to them.
Well, guys like Thomas, they don't know how to play any other way, that's for sure. Second down and 8. Oxendine breaks more tackles than he has the first down as he rambles down to the 15-yard line. Boy, he is one impressive back. He's going to take over when Thomas leaves. He came into the game averaging over 6 yards per carry. He is sensational.
I think it's nice to have Thomas in there, then Oxendine, Thomas in there. Then you come back with the fullbacks that they have. We've said before and want to say again, the fullbacks they have playing, you just can't get too many more better than that, and I think it's part of their success. They're able to control the football like they do.
He missed the first 2 games of the year with a broken bone in his right hand, but is still the team's second leading rusher.
Did he come back against Miami, though? He made a big difference, several long runs.
Absolutely. Has a hole here. And gets inside the 10 down to the 7-yard line. Bernard Russ makes the stop.
No, you're sitting with the football team that's going to be six wins in a row.
Holding offense.
That one comes back again. Again, Tech has been plagued by penalties, second worst in the conference in terms of penalty yards per game.
Holding offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
No, we were saying before this will be their 6th win in a row, but I can remember we covered this as a Big East Network when they were 0-2, and we asked them the question, what do you have to do to get this football team well? He says, win today against Miami, and that'll be the best tonic we can have. And sure enough, with a sold-out crowd, they beat Miami for the first time in their history, and it's been undefeated ever since. They're playing like an undefeated team, and they're leading the Big East in a lot of areas. And they're going to be tough to beat down the hall. It'll be a big game next week when they play Syracuse.
Druckenmiller fires. Nice catch from Still, but quickly brought down by Beasley. You know, that Miami game, they won it 13-7. Game wasn't over till the final play when a pass was deflected in the end zone as the Hurricanes were driving down the field.
Now, you've got to watch a tremendous executed play by your quarterback, Druckenmiller, because he's getting Bob Baum's got pressure right in his face. Great throw, great catch. Another bootleg action.
Druckenmiller throws, almost picked off. There's Aaron Beasley right there.
I tell you, I don't know of a more aggressive ball hawk and defensive back in football than Aaron Beasley. You have to admire the way he plays. He's got great courage to the ball and tremendous confidence in how he plays people.
The senior from Pottstown, Pennsylvania is going to make somebody happy in the NFL next year.
It's going to be disappointing for him to be part of a team that you know, it's just hard to play, but you got to admire him the way they play and not being able to win more games.
Third down.
Feel for him.
Yep. 3rd and 12. The screen to Oxendine, able to hold on. Can't go anywhere as he's quickly brought down. Odell Tucker on the tackle.
Now again, you're talking about Aaron Beasley, big tackle, number 71, pulls out there to try to blow him out of the thing, and Beasley just takes him on and keeps the play squeezed down from the outside to allow 56 Tucker come over and make the play. And just great defense. And people don't understand the coordination that goes with it, and some of us appreciate it so, and I hope everybody does appreciate the effort that goes into all these great plays by football players across the land.
Adel Larson, a 39-yard attempt. Floats this one up and just gets over.
We know his distance at least. We know his distance.
So Larson's second field goal of the afternoon.
You know, it's just amazing the swing that he has. He kicks him out of the end zone on the kickoff and just boots it over.
Virginia Tech dominating this afternoon. Frank Beamer's Hokies on their way to their 6th straight win. And also, they have yet to lose on the road this year. They hold on today. They'll be 4-0 on the road. And they just added to their points. Adel Larson, a 39-yard field goal, but not by much.
When things are going your way, they go your way. Look at that flag with the wind on it. But it just clears the thing. And the young man from wherever he's from, he's got it going today. But we saw him suffer early in the year.
Well, Larson's from Norway, so.
Is that where he's from?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, he should enjoy this cold weather at least. It isn't cold weather that's bothering him.
He also had a 43-yard field goal to kick off the scoring in the first. Virginia Tech also, Dwayne Thomas on an 8-yard touchdown run. Larry Green on a 38-yard interception return. Druckenmiller and Jennings hooked up from 37 yards out. They have dominated this afternoon.
There it is in the end zone, same area, right in the field.
Sean Foreman had thoughts, but wisely says no. And West Virginia will take over at their own 20.
It's very obvious that he has a leg a little bit stronger than he's kicking.
Yep.
Very obvious that he needs a little bit more confidence in letting it follow through and kicking it right.
And there you see the latest scoring drive, courtesy of some excellent field position.
9 plays, 21 yards. That's what you call clock-eating offense.
And again, Eric Boykin, backup quarterback, the junior from Dayton, is on for Chad Johnson.
Now let's see
earlier here in the 4th.
Now he's got the field position. See if Coach Nehlen would open it up now and start trying to move the football field with the pass offense.
Play fake from Boykin. Quick throw. Complete to Leroy White. White's got the first down and more. Across the 40. And slides up to about the 45-yard line. Cornell Brown comes around to make the stop.
You know, Mac McCulty is sitting out there at wide receiver and doing a great job blocking, which allowed the play to go further. Fullback is wide open on the football play. Great call off the counter bootleg.
And a 25-yard pickup for Leroy White. Good pursuit from Brown to track down the tackle. So 1st and 10.
Amazing the speed of that defensive front.
They're just shy of their own 45. Boykin again to throw. Fires, complete to David Saunders. And he's hit at the 42-yard line by Larry Green, 42-yard line of Virginia Tech.
The pressure on Eric Boykin is just amazing. He's able to get that thing off and complete it.
I tell you, the Tech defensive line, they've got to be tired from being in the backfield so much.
No. When you get to the quarterback, you want to play all day. No, they don't get tired of something like that. They love it. It's when they're playing and can't get anywhere and get tired. Fortunately, they can run now.
Curtis Keaton quickly hit by Jimmy Barron. And a fumble. Let's see if they call it still Tech ball. Or check that Mountaineer ball. And yes, it will stay with West Virginia. Barron trying to plead his case.
Curtis Keaton, a freshman, better learn to respect the ball. At first down, we don't have to reach further and get a half a yard. Put it in trouble, let the official call the thing.
Well, he certainly dropped it. Barron stripped it.
That's right.
Keaton somehow holds on. I don't know if that's strong possession, but it's still West Virginia football.
The whistle was blown. We heard the whistle blow. That's why they kept it.
Play fake again. Boykin with the throw. Nearly picked off. Matt McCulty helped make sure Antonio Banks couldn't come up with the interception.
The young man made a great block. And now as a wide receiver, if I throw it to you and you can't get it, make sure nobody else catches it. And that's a great example of that because a lousy thrown ball by Boykin here.
Very wobbly.
And right at the defender.
Yep.
McNulty made sure he didn't get it.
Tough situation for Boykin to come in. Your team getting blown out. Kind of a chilly day. And all of a sudden, you got to come in and perform. But that's what a backup quarterback needs to do. 3rd and 14. Boykin under pressure. And he is taken by George Del Rico. Another sack for the Virginia Tech defense.
Waverly Jackson, there's so many people on the sack. There's so much pressure by the people. It's it's one of these games that you can see now why Coach Nehlen didn't want to throw the football a lot, because he knew that they couldn't stand up from the pressure. Didn't want to, just get his football team into trouble. He had to stay close, try to win in the 4th quarter.
So
now West Virginia.
Don Nehlen calls timeout. Just under 5.5 to play. Most of the crowd here at Mountaineer Field now heading for the exits. Virginia Tech has dominated. It was 17-0 at halftime. The 2 quick scores early in the 2nd quarter turned it around, especially that interception by Larry Green. He returned it 38 yards for a touchdown. And West Virginia still looking for their first points in quite some time. They were blanked last week. And what do they have ahead? Let's take a look for Virginia Tech. Still some tough games and none tougher.
Well, it's
the next week.
Yeah,
That's down in Blacksburg.
It's going to be on ABC, I think. And that's good for them at 3:30. So not good for us, good for them.
Syracuse still in first place in the Big East.
Well, they aren't playing today, but they certainly will be looking forward to this game, and I'm guarantee a lot of them are watching this right now, and it's going to help the coaching staff at Syracuse to get ready, because they know that Virginia Tech's a good football team.
Now, West Virginia, no room for error the rest of the way.
Yeah, no bad.
Certainly 2 winnable home games, but they're going to have to come up with a huge win down in Miami.
Now they hear that Rutgers is having a big game against Pitt this afternoon, so this has not been a good afternoon for West Virginia in any way. They got to get out and play Rutgers, coming off a thing, and they got Pittsburgh left, who's getting better, and Miami's trying to climb out of the outhouse back to the penthouse where they started.
Boykin, another play fake. Boykin again under pressure. And he runs out of bounds. Tony Morrison right there. Just shy of midfield. And that was a 4th down play, so Virginia Tech will take over. Tough afternoon for Boykin and the Mountaineers. Well, maybe the homecoming parties tonight with the parents will... No chance. Huh?
No, put on extra please. It's a very, very sad day at Morgantown. Don't forget, it's the rivalry of Virginia Tech that's here. They don't like to lose to those neighbors. This is not a happy camp anyplace by the players, coaches, or anything. Congratulations to you, Virginia Tech. Wonderful victory out of your own backyard.
Al Clark, the freshman out of Washington, D.C., the backup quarterback, sees his first action this afternoon. Clark hands off to Oxendine, who gets down to the 39-yard line. Charlton Forbes the tackle. So a lot of the reserves getting a chance here down the stretch in what has turned into a blowout victory for Virginia Tech. There's Clark, 6'1", 195. Again, the freshman. There you see the numbers in terms of passing. Also runs the ball extremely well. He's averaging 10.5 yards per rush. He's got 2 TD runs this year, 48 and 58 yards. That happened in the blowout against Akron.
Take a look at him in person. He's just a great, big, strong guy.
Oxendine fumbles.
I think it was an exchange thing. He never did get the football. I think it's a coordination problem between he and... The way it looked to me, Mike, that he never did get the thing. It was put on his hip, and Al's got to look that thing in a little bit more. Oh.
Yep.
He had it in there.
Yeah, Oxendine should have had that one.
Oxendine's looking downfield instead of coming to the ball. It's his fault, not the quarterback's.
3rd and 3 for Virginia Tech. Certainly the coaching staff likes to give him a chance to get his feet wet a little bit here and there.
Well, I think they want to just run the football, keep the clock going here, try to get your first down.
Oxendine does get it easily as he rambles down to the 33-yard line. Jason Williams with the tackle. Oxendine now with 72 yards on the day on just 11 carries. Clark getting the signals from the side.
They're going to the shotgun here, but they're shifting out of it. I think that they're going to keep the clock running down on the field. Go home with the 27-0 victory.
Oxendine manages to get down to the 29-yard line as they're just running out the clock. Bob Brown on the stop. So a 2nd and 6 coming up. 3 minutes, 15 seconds and counting. In what has been another impressive victory for the Virginia Tech Hokies. They will improve to 4-0 on the road this season. Those first 2 losses to BC and to Cincinnati, both at home. They had to come up with road wins, and they did so.
Well, the way you win is to stay well, the healthy. The same team that I saw a long time ago is completely intact, and that makes a lot of difference.
There's Clark's running ability as he gets down to the 10-yard line. Sean Foreman finally brings him down, but Clark, excellent running the football. 19-yard pickup. It gives them an added dimension when he's in there. Certainly Druckenmiller, a terrific passer, but not known for his running, although he looked pretty good scrambling today.
Again, it's the weak side option football play that's been there, and I think that they'll see that Al Clark can run a real good football play from that thing.
Oxendine straight up the middle and quickly hit and then thrown back. Going nowhere.
Now the challenge right now is for West Virginia to keep him out of the end zone. It's a real solid ground attack. Bunch up, play everybody in the box and go right after him. Keep him out of the end zone. That's what we should do here. But from a sportsmanship standpoint, you've got to admire Frank Beamer and his staff. They've got the victory. There's no embarrassment here. It's a conference team, a very, very bitter rivalry, but done the correct way. We're coming right after you, straight ahead. You keep us out. We're trying to get in.
So much of the other alternative. We've seen so many coaches run up the score this year.
Not very many teams in the East do that.
Nope. Clark hands off. Parker gets down to the 2. Randy Fulmer on the stop. So it'll be 3rd and goal from the 2. 27-0. Virginia Tech in control. It's going to be a pleasant trip home to Blacksburg.
Anytime you win, it's a pleasant trip home, especially a big game like this, a conference opponent. You're actually putting West Virginia in trouble conference-wise with two losses, staying with 1. Great win over Miami. Exciting week of practice, getting ready for a strong first-place Syracuse team coming in.
And nowhere to go for Parker that time, as the West Virginia
now
defense
the clock becomes the worst enemy. They're trying to keep him out. It's down to 44 seconds, and the crowd is responding.
Steve Ford with the tackle.
Virginia Tech crowd is saying get in. West Virginia crowd staying here, staying get out. So let's see if they get another playoff.
4th and goal at the 2. There you see your time winding down. No need to get another playoff, really.
You know, Frank Beamer has got his own son on the football team, but this is how you can show a lot of people that, you know, you get the victory and you don't want to embarrass anybody.
And they're going to let the
exciting part of it.
Excuse me, Dick. They're going to let the play clock wind out and get the penalty.
Play of the game, offense.
Right now, we're going to take a look at our Ford Player of the Game, brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Today's Player of the Game, Cornell Brown, number 58. A couple of sacks, 8 tackles, as the defense really the story today for Virginia Tech.
He has a brother that I believe that played at Pitt and was a #1 draft choice, an outstanding offensive tackle. And
Reuben, yep.
Yeah, you talk about genes and lineage. There's another one.
And this will be the final play for another impressive win for Virginia Tech. Clark kicks out to Oxendine, and Oxendine brought down as the clock ticks out, and that one will do it. Virginia Tech has their first 6-game winning streak since 1967. The Hokies have won 6 in a row. They are now 4-0 on the road, and 6-2 on the season is 2 very highly respected coaches.
Yep.
High emotion for Virginia Tech. They defeat West Virginia 27-0 here in Morgantown. Right now, let's go to our Big East studios and John Sanders.